Chapter 950 Witness the Miracle. Chapter 950 Witness the Miracle. It was a long time ago. The longer it dragged on, the more disadvantageous it was for Jiyu Tongtian. Because life force limit. He only had a few more years left, and it wouldn't take up much time to reach Western Devil Lord. And then Jiyu Tongtian's figure moved and landed in the Supreme God's secret room. Supreme God shivered and immediately bowed respectfully. Master. Jiyu Tongtian slightly said, "How is the matter going?" Supreme God said, reporting to Master, "All the disciples have been properly arranged. Long Fei will definitely receive a lesson during today's academy competition, and receive heavy injuries. At that time, I will guide him to the Dragon Tail Tomb. He will definitely go there, and once the Dragon Tail Tomb is unraveled, the only thing left behind is the Dragon Claw Tomb in Dragon Domain. Once the tomb with the dragon's tail is opened, the Dragon Domain will open very soon." Jiyu Tongtian said, "Very good. However, you must remember, you must control them. The people of Long family are hard to control, and as long as they have the slightest chance of success, they will definitely rise up. I do not wish for the incident with Long Zhanting to occur again." Jiyu Tongtian's voice was filled with dignity. Long Fei was his last hope. Supreme God immediately said, "This disciple will definitely be able to control it." Martial arts practice field. Long Fei returned to the training grounds. Seeing the excitement on Long Fei's face, Song Qianqian couldn't help but ask, "Where did you go just now?" Long Fei laughed and said, "Let's go and fight a boss." Song Qianqian did not understand what boss was, and revealed a puzzled expression. Long Fei also did not explain, saying, "You'll know in a while." Next alchemy competition. Disciples, prepare yourself. The finals will begin in 3 minutes. Chen Tianfei immediately became excited. "Boss, it's your turn." Long Fei smiled slightly, and said, "It's my time now." Long Fei was not prepared at all. He not only wanted to win against his opponent, he also wanted to win against all of the warriors in the God Emperor Academy, or even all of the warriors in the God's martial continent. He first stepped onto the stage of powder-making competition, lowered his voice, and said loudly, "Yesterday, I told you that I wanted to refine a medicinal pellet that could change the world. You will definitely laugh at me. How does a single pill change a world? Today, I will show you the power of medicinal pills and the power to change the world." As soon as Long Fei's voice fell, he said, "I will refine 20 pills and give them to you for free. These 20 people, no matter who you are, the warriors of God Emperor Academy, the elders, the principal, the Fairy Hall Elder and the people from your observation consortium, all can come up." Changing time required strong proof. These 20 people were proof of this. Who's coming? Long Fei swept his gaze across the entire audience. As soon as he finished speaking, one of the College of Martial Arts Training Clan elder mocked, "Brat, pills are only supplementary. It cannot change the world. The only thing that can change the world is power. You want to treat us like Xiao Bai rats. A person like you is not worthy of becoming an alchemy master at all." Long Fei sneered, and said, "I'm very sorry, a person like you doesn't even have the qualifications to be a mouse like Xiao Bai, do you understand? If you have the guts, come down. If you want to change, then come down. Those who are afraid, and those who like to mock others, scram to the side, because you do not have the qualifications to witness history. Destiny Changer could really change the world." The pubes had transformed. Through the transformation of his sea of consciousness, he could increase a person's cultivation talent. This was equivalent to raising the talent of the warriors in God's martial continent by a whole level. Long Fei wanted to change this world, wanted to let the position of the Fengyuan Business Alliance be unshakable. He also wanted countless fairy stones and immortal crystals. He wanted to make the Hell Core strong and lawless. "I'll do it." One of the warriors from the observation team stood up and said, "I am a 9th grade madman with a rank 4 immortal foundation. However, I am unable to break through due to my natural talent. Let's see how powerful this pill that can change the world is. Count me in. I've taken countless kinds of pills, but they only solidify my foundation. I'll do it. Count me in." "Me too." People continued to stand up and walk from the spectators area to the stage of powder-making competitions area. A fairy hall elder suddenly stood up and said, "Since you say it's so magical, count me in." An elder from 18 matrial halls also walked down, "Count me in." In this period of time, the people of the arrogant dragon squad had always taken two things before fighting the battles. One was a medicinal pellet, the other was a variant crystal nucleu. At this moment, Ouyang Zhon stood up and said faintly, "Long Fei, if any discomfort happens to them, you have to take full responsibility." Xiao Tianwu laughed coldly, "Long Fei, look at how great you have made yourself out to be. Since you can change the world's medicine, why did you provide it to them for free? I think you have some ulterior motive." Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "Do you too want to be slapped again? Ouyang Zhon, do you dare to gamble with your life?" Long Fei could not stand Ouyang Zhon jumping around. "If you don't want to bet your life, then don't be cocky here with me, stay over there with those two." The anger in Ouyang Zhon's heart unceasingly accumulated. From the first day until now, Ouyang Zhon had to admit that he was very patient. If it was Long Fei, he would have exploded on the first day. Ouyang Zhon was so angry that he couldn't speak, and he didn't dare gamble on his alchemy. And then, one of the referees loudly announced, "The alchemy competition will now begin." As soon as he finished, the green dragon medicine tripod floated above Long Fei's left hand, and Long Fei's technique was surprisingly quick in displaying the full potential of the reverse alchemy technique. After a month of hard work, he was finally able to understand the method of the God's General's Destiny Changer and reduce its failure rate to 0, which could be said to be a 100% success rate in refining Destiny Changer. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for successfully refining it. A single pill was completed. It took less than 2 minutes. Long Fei did not stop and continued to refine. 1, 2, 3. In just 10 short minutes, he managed to refine 6 medicinal pellets. His opponent was a high-ranked alchemy master from a elixir martial arts branch, and upon seeing this situation, the pressure in his heart immediately caused him to collapse. I admit defeat. He had given up the match. However, Long Fei did not stop as he continued his crazed refining. Half an hour later, Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "I have succeeded in refining 20 pills. This technique and this speed were simply heaven-defying." The entire martial arts arena was in a daze, looking at Long Fei who was in the alchemy. How could this be called a alchemy? That's like picking up beans, isn't it too simple? Long Fei looked at the 20 people and said, "One each. After you take it, you'll know what pills that can change the world are." Who? Long Fei heaved a heavy sigh, raised his head and looked towards the sky. It's time to witness the miracle. Chapter 951, Magic Power. Chapter 951, Magic Power. Many people were waiting for Long Fei to make a fool of himself. In the world of martial artists, there was only one thing that could change this world: power. Pills were only supplementary items. They absolutely could not change the world. Long Fei's words were very loud, so much so that many people ridiculed him for overestimating his own abilities, for being so arrogant and conceited. Pills to change the world? This was simply impossible. Long Fei did not care about the mocking laughter from the stands. He looked at the 20 people, including one of the fairy hall elder. The 20 of them stared at the pill in their hands, and many of them felt perplexed. A pill that took less than 2 minutes to refine did not emit any spirit fragrance at all. Was this really a pill that would not give him diarrhea after eating it? A wave of mocking laughter immediately rose from the stands. Be careful of the diarrhea. God Emperor Academy doesn't have that many latrines, ha ha ha. You all are really retarded. You all believe what others say? Do you really dare to believe a lie about a single pill being able to change the world? Maybe he'll become his slave after consuming the medicinal pills. Get ready for diarrhea. One voice after another rang out. Long Fei turned a deaf ear to them, looked at the 20 of them and said, "You will all be proud of today's decision, and will be the first to rise." Long Fei did not force them. At this time, the first middle-aged man who stood out, a 9th stage berserk immortal cultivator, shouted, "I have consumed countless pills, but I am still unable to break through the virtual immortal stage. I do not believe in pills, but I do believe in you, Long Fei." With that, he raised his head and swallowed the pill. The moment the pill entered his mouth, it melted and a warm sensation seeped into his body. Next, as the effects of the pill spread, a loud sound reverberated inside the pubes. The man's eyes bulged, as if he was being attacked by some unbearably powerful attack. His aura suddenly burst forth. Did you see that? It's much more serious than we thought. I'm afraid he's going to die. Look at his painful expression. This is definitely not a stomach ache. It's probably a life-threatening pill. Long Fei, you really don't care about life. The people of Nantian region are this kind of sinister people. There is nothing good in the Long family. The mocking laughter grew in volume. Long Fei still pretended not to hear anything, and looked at the man seriously. He was extremely confident, and was not afraid at all. Just you wait, you'll all kneel down and beg me. Long Fei was not in a hurry. The other 19 people looked at each other and did not consume the pill. Instead, they looked at the man who was in pain. Many of them began to regret. Suddenly, the man sat cross-legged, releasing one chi after another from his body. After about half a minute, buzz, a rumbling sound could be heard from within his body as the aura on his body changed. He went from the original arrogant immortal state to the aura of the virtual immortal stage. He walked to Long Fei and kneeled down in front of him with a plop sound. He was so excited that he couldn't even speak. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've broken through, I've broken through. The bottleneck that had troubled him for 5 years, he thought he would never be able to break through in this lifetime. Now, he had broken through. It was because of the pill Long Fei had given him just now. His voice was like an imperceptible slap, ruthlessly hitting the faces of those who had just mocked Long Fei. It was incomparably loud. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "Congratulations." It was at this moment. The man sat down with his legs crossed and his forehead locked. What happened to him? It must be side effects, the side effects of forcefully breaking through to the next realm. Something definitely has to be wrong with the body. Kid, don't get cocky too early. You're right, the people from the Nantian region basically don't understand alchemy. The Nantian region from the wasteland are the weakest region in the gods' martial continent. Do you understand what alchemy are? The 19 people originally wanted to consume the pill, but when they saw that the man's brow was furrowed, their hearts trembled and they didn't continue. But right at this moment, buzz, a bright sound. Buzz, another bright sound. Buzz, a third bright sound. Every martial artist was familiar with this sound. When one broke through to the next realm, their body would emit a buzzing sound, and their strength would change. 3 chimes represented 3 breakthroughs. The first time was 4 breakthroughs. Continuously. 4 consecutive breakthroughs. In less than a minute, he had broken through to the 4th level. Terrifying. Kneeling in front of Long Fei again, he heavily kowtowed and said, "From today onwards, you are my master. You have given me a new life, thank you." He did not know how to repay Long Fei. He was giving his life to Long Fei. Long Fei helped him up, and said, "I am not your master, if you are willing, from today onwards, we are brothers, boss." Without saying a word, the man was extremely excited. The entire stands instantly quietened down. Breaking through 4 times in a short moment, what kind of concept was that? Even the super geniuses of the Green Dragon Matrial Hall couldn't do it. Long Fei swept his gaze across them and laughed coldly. "Laugh, laugh again for this, Daddy. Don't you guys like to mock me? Keep laughing. Those people who were mocking me just now, I will remember them all. Anyone can buy a destiny changer, none of you can." A slap in the face. The commotion caused by the destiny changer was just too intense. Long Fei also never thought that there would be such a great stir, to the point of consecutively leveling up 4 levels. He never would have expected that. It was also at this time. The remaining 19 people quickly consumed their pills. Buzz. I've broken through. I've broken through. Buzz. I also broke through. I also broke through. Long Fei, you are my new parents, you gave me a new life. Ha ha ha. I broke through as well. In the next few minutes, more and more people broke through. 13 of the 20 had instantly broken through, and they were extremely terrifying existences. The entire audience was shocked. Was this drag? Impossible, even if it were to drag things out, no one would be able to control the breakthrough. Breaking through to the next realm wasn't something that could be controlled by a human. It was definitely the effect of that pill. Long Fei looked at the Fairy Hall Elder and said, "Elder, it's your turn." These people were just breaking through. However, they did not know why they had broken through. What changes had happened to their bodies? Fairy Hall Elder put the pill into his mouth and closed his eyes. It was also at this time. Everyone looked at the Fairy Hall Elder, holding their breath. Everyone could be dragging it out, but it was impossible for the Fairy Hall Elder. 2 seconds later. Fairy Hall Elder was shocked. Chapter 952, The Throat of Controlling the World. Chapter 952, The Throat of Controlling the World. He could not calm down. In Palace Question of God, he was also a alchemy master. Other than the ancestral dragon pellet that Long Fei refined, he disdained all other pellets, including the 9 dragon pill that Shu Tianhe refined. Because he could concoct stronger pills. He only went up on stage to find out what was so special about the pellet Long Fei refined. There was no other reason. However, when he swallowed the pill, he felt as if he was electrocuted. Both of his eyes were opened wide in anger, and he instantly became excited, staring at Long Fei. "Your pill. Let's wait first." He broke through and sat cross-legged, his aura continuously condensing and bursting out, forming a powerful whirlpool of air. A few seconds later. Boom! With a loud bang, a heavy sound of thunder came out from within his body. His entire person became incomparably excited, as he suddenly stood up and rushed in front of Long Fei, his eyes filled with respect and worship, and asked, Why did it have such a metamorphosis effect?" The Fairy Hall Elder had broken through. The Fairy Hall Elder had broken through. Ouyang Zhon's face was ashen, Xiao Tianwu's expression was ugly. The expressions of the elders and disciples of Elixir Martial Arts Branch were as though they had been slapped ruthlessly by a few hundred slippers, becoming extremely ugly. They had been laughing at him, but now, Fairy Hall Elder had already made a breakthrough and gave them a resounding slap across their faces. Long Fei said indifferently, "Because this is a medicinal pellet that can change the world." Changing the world. Fairy Hall Elder's heart violently shook as he muttered to himself. The pubes transformed, the sea of consciousness transformed, a person's talent transformed. This is indeed a pill that can change the world. It's really possible. Boy, pills can change the world. This is the dream of us alchemy masters. You really did it. Really, you really did it. As he spoke, the Fairy Hall Elder's eyes filled with tears. Alchemists were indeed worthy of respect. However, he was only an alchemist and was only able to refine a few medicinal pellets to assist his cultivation. He had to rely on himself, because every single alchemy master would want to refine a medicinal pellet that would change the time of the day. But that dream was too far away. Now, Long Fei did it. He was incomparably excited, and at the same time, the entire martial arts practice grounds began to boil with excitement. What kind of medicinal pill is it? Even the Fairy Hall Elder made a breakthrough in an instant. What kind of effects does this pill have? The disciples of the 18 matrial halls stood up. The remaining 7 Fairy Hall Elders also stood up at the same time. Their expressions were all incomparably shocked. Just when they were shocked, Long Fei smiled faintly, looked at the Fairy Hall Elder, and said, "Alchemy is my hobby." Amateur. Should he still let those alchemy masters live? It was simply too deadly. Long Fei, give up on the competition. I will bring you up to Palace Question of God and you will become the #1 alchemy master in the entire continent. Any one of your pellets will be worth 10,000 gold. He knew what would happen next. But he couldn't care so much now. He couldn't allow a genius alchemy master to fall just like that. He could not let the pills that could change the world disappear just like that. Long Fei was slightly taken aback, then laughed, "Thank you for your good intentions. As I said before, alchemy is only a hobby to me, and my main job is still to become a martial artist." The space between Fairy Hall Elders' brows tightened, and said, "Long Fei, listen to me advise you to give up your personal qualifying fight, it will definitely benefit you." He had made it very clear. Personal qualifying fight was very dangerous, incomparably dangerous. Long Fei was not an idiot. He naturally stopped and said, "The dictionary of my Long family people do not have the word give up. Thank you, Elder, for your kind intentions, but no matter what kind of challenge you meet, I will always step on them." Why didn't you listen to him? You will die from personal qualifying fight. The Fairy Hall Elder hurriedly said. He really didn't want to see that scene, and at the beginning, he didn't care much, but now that Long Fei had completed it, he didn't have any dreams that I hadn't completed. He didn't want to see Long Fei die. What kind of existence was Pan Sheng? First Devil Slayer. This was only secondary. The most important part was his cultivation realm and the body that he had comprehended. The most important part was the instructions from the Supreme God. Even if he could win everything, could Long Fei win against Pan Sheng? Even if he defeated Pan Sheng, would Long Fei be able to win against the Supreme God that was the ruler of the Hall of Immortals? Giving up is Long Fei's only choice. At this moment, the 3 Fairy Hall Elders descended and shouted, "Elder Li, you speak too much." Without waiting for a response, the 2 clan elders dragged him out of the stage of powder-making competition. Another elder looked at Long Fei and said, "Personal qualifying fight, you must participate. If you dare not participate, everything that you have obtained today will be for naught. Moreover, those around you will all die. I hate people who threaten me the most." Long Fei sneered and said, "Don't worry, even if the sky falls, I will still participate in the personal qualifying fight today. No one will be able to stop my, Long Fei's, steps. No one. You can't either." The Fairy Hall Elder sneered, and looked at Long Fei teasingly, his eyes saying, "You don't know the heights of heaven and earth, you'll know how high the heavens are and how thick the earth is later." Elder Li still shouted loudly, "Long Fei, give up the competition and follow me to Hall of Immortals. Palace Question of God will make your pills worth 10,000 gold, listen to my advice." Bam! One of them struck Elder Li's abdomen with his palm and the other shouted, "If you dare say even half a word more, I'll take your life." Long Fei looked into his eyes, his heart was also filled with suspicion. Exactly what kind of experts will appear in personal qualifying fight? Amongst the students of God Emperor Academy, none of them are my match. Could it be Hall of Immortals? Long Fei couldn't understand how any of the disciples in the God Emperor Academy could be his match. Huff. We'll deal with it when it's time. Long Fei made up his mind, and said indifferently, "The medicinal pellets I refine do not need to be worth 10,000 gold. At the observation section, a consortium leader stood up and said, "Master Long Fei, what is the name of this pill and what is the price? If possible, I would like to buy it out of your exclusive right. Name your price." Once such a pill entered the market, it would sweep across the entire continent. Medicinal pills could change time, but acquiring the exclusive right was equivalent to controlling the throat of this world and the entire continent. Next, all of the consortium leaders of the consortium stood up and said, "Master Long Fei, the price is up to you. As long as you can open it, we will definitely think of a way." Controlling this pill was equivalent to gaining control of the world. Long Fei looked at them one by one. If the destiny changer were to fall into their hands, what would change would not be the world, but making them extremely rich. This was not Long Fei's goal. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "This medicinal pellet is called Nantian Elixir, the only selling point of God's Martial Continent, Fengyuan Business Alliance. As for the selling price, 100 silver taels is enough." Chapter 953, The Beginning of the Personal Qualifying Fight. Chapter 953, The Beginning of the Personal Qualifying Fight. 100 silver taels. The entire arena instantly quieted down. All the spectators looked at Long Fei with their mouths agape. Not to mention 100 taels of silver, even 100, 1,000, 10,000 fairy stones would all be sold out, yet Long Fei only sold them for 100 taels of silver. Was he retarded? Had he been bitten by a dog, kicked by a donkey, and caught in the door an hour later? Even a fool wouldn't sell it for 100 taels of silver. Am I hearing things? 100 silver? How much did he just say? 100 fairy stones, right? Am I the only one who heard wrong? The entire city was filled with doubts, thinking that they had misheard. How could such a pill only be sold for 100 taels of silver? Long Fei swept his gaze across the entire audience and said, "You did not hear wrongly, the price of the Nantian elixir is 100 silver, today is 100 silver, tomorrow is 100 silver, so from now on, the price of this medicine will be 100 silver. I said before that I want to change this world, and I, Long Fei, want to make sure that every martial artist can afford it, and that they have the right to change their own destinies." As soon as he finished, the entire audience was stunned. Then, many people started to stand up, one by one. Even the elite disciples of 18 material halls could not help but stand up and clap their hands. The applause was deafening. At this moment, even those who had mocked Long Fei felt a sense of respect towards him. Who would do such a thing? The person who could have controlled the fate of the world had actually given up and allowed every fighter the right to change their fate. Who could do that? No one in the world could do this. Fighters are selfish. Be it the weak or the peak powerhouse, everyone was thinking about themselves. Who could be like Long Fei? Nantian region, Nantian elixir. Change fate. Nantian region, Nantian region, Nantian region. At this moment, everyone was shouting the 3 words Nantian region. The destiny changer changing her fate to Nantian elixir meant letting everyone know that the medicine that could change the fate of the world was a Long family from the Nantian region. Boss is too handsome. He's so handsome that it's like trash falling from the sky. Zheng Qingsong's tears started to drip from her eyes as she said, "I'm really going to fall in love with him." At this moment, Song Qianqian, Man Tuoluo, Aoya, Han Shueji and the others all stared at him. All the hair on their bodies stood on end as they stared at him. They were all extremely excited. So handsome. The entire world was cheering for Long Fei. He was arrogant, he was tyrannical, but he was also selfless. If someone was happy, then that person would naturally be unhappy. It was inevitable that Ouyang Zhon, Xiao Tianwu, and the principal of the 18 material halls would all be very angry. Long Fei's current position in the hearts of his students had already far surpassed theirs. If Long Fei did not die today, he would have replaced them. He might even become a dean. This was not what they wanted to see. Also, there was one other person who was extremely unhappy, Pan Sheng, who was in the group of Pan family. He was in a bad mood. Extremely displeased. Pan Sheng stared at Long Fei with gloomy eyes, and said coldly, "I would like to see how you are going to change this world if you don't have a life, and become a ghost to change. I absolutely cannot allow this pill to enter the market. As long as Long Fei dies, all the Nantian elixir and all the pills that can change the world will go to hell." Pubes flowed into the market, causing the influence of the Fengyuan Business Alliance to increase instantly. He would directly crush the Pan family's merchant union. Moreover, there was no need to duplicate a pill worth 100 taels of silver. Long Fei, oh Long Fei, I really underestimated you in the past. I never thought that you would be so much stronger than what I imagined. The killing intent in Pan Sheng's heart grew stronger. After today, if Long Fei doesn't die, he will fly away. He could not let Long Fei fly. He could not let Long family crush him again. He absolutely could not. Palace question of God. In the main hall, Supreme God frowned slightly. His expression was calm, but in his heart, he was extremely unhappy. Because he did not want Long Fei to rise again. After today, Nantian elixir flowed into the market, the entire God's martial continent would know of the name Long Fei, and they would know of the Long family's Long family. This was something he did not want to see. Why is he only selling it for 100 silver? An elder asked in confusion. Only then would it cause a sensation, and achieve the results he wants. I have to say, Long Fei really knows how to operate himself. That's just one thing. If it's 100 fairy stones, or even just one, how many of them can the warriors of God's martial continent take out? It's probably not even 1 in 100,000, right? Fairy stones were very precious things. Even the high-ranking nobles of the God Emperor city could not provide that much, let alone ordinary warriors. What he wants to earn is the money of the entire God's martial continent's warriors. This is his most knowledgeable place. A fairy hall elder said lightly. 100 taels of silver and 100 fairy stones were far too different. But what about the billions of basic warriors in the entire continent? What would the result be? The result was very simple. Long Fei wanted to make a huge profit. Of course. Long Fei was thinking the same thing. If he could earn money, gain fame, and increase the influence of the Nantian region, why not? He somewhat realized that he also had the potential to be an unscrupulous merchant. After a moment of commotion, next were the finals. Soon, the results came out. There were many people who were not interested in these finals. In their hearts, they were all thinking about the matter of purchasing the Nantian elixir, which was the main highlight of the competition, the personal qualifying fight. 2 hours later, the commotion caused by the Nantian elixir slowly calmed down. A referee walked up and said, "Next is the finale, personal qualifying fight. Who can reach the top? Who could become the #1 disciple of the God Emperor Academy? Let's wait and see." Personal qualifying fight, the competition with the heaviest value. It was more important than any contest. This was the world of martial artists, and strength was always the main theme. Moreover, as long as one was a student of the God Emperor Academy, they could participate in any personal qualifying fight challenge. Huff. Long Fei heaved a heavy sigh, and said, "It has finally begun. What kind of powerhouse are they hiding?" Chen Tianfei walked up and asked, "Boss, do we participate?" Long Fei shook his head, and said, "You do not need to, I want to defeat them one by one in this competition." He knew in his heart. Personal qualifying fight was the beginning of danger. I am afraid God Emperor Academy still have some tricks up his sleeves. I cannot let my brothers be in danger anymore. Long Fei looked at Aoya and said, "I will settle that elder for you as well." Oya was stunned. At this time, Long Fei walked out. Either not, or they could just turn him upside down. Thus, Long Fei took a step forward, his figure moved, his eyes stared straight at Ouyang, and said, "Come, I will challenge your entire 18 material halls." Chapter 954, Killing Kill, Explosion. Chapter 954, Killing Kill, Explosion. 18 material halls, right? Powerful beyond compare, right? I'm going to destroy you. Long Fei stood on the stage with incomparable arrogance, and said, "All geniuses of 18 material halls, come. I, Long Fei, will receive them all by myself. If you want to be arrogant, then be arrogant to the death." If they wanted to challenge, they had to challenge the 18 material halls together. God fending against gods, Buddhist defense against Buddhas, slaughter of Buddhas. Long Fei was just that arrogant. Too arrogant. A senior disciple of the Green Dragon material hall flew down, the sword in his hand formed an illusion, and the powerful sword technique crushed the heavens, releasing a pressure of the 8th stage of the Blood Immortal stage, Brat, Die. 8th level Blood Immortal. His cultivation was 9 realms higher than Long Fei. An existence that was difficult to surpass. The sword techniques they trained in were also extremely powerful. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as his lips curled up slightly. He laughed coldly and said, "You're the genius of Green Dragon material hall, right?" The moment the dragon Salia fell, without waiting for that disciple to fall, the aura on Long Fei's body exploded, level 7 peerless, open. Boom. The energy in Long Fei's body suddenly exploded, and the dragon Salia in his hand slashed down without hesitation. Roar. The black dragon roared. A black dragon-shaped saber energy came crushing down. Crack. The sword broke, and before he could even land on the stage, he was killed instantly by Long Fei's blade. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing senior disciple of Green Dragon material hall for obtaining 3,900 experience, 200 power of celestial points, and 10 energy values point. Congratulations, player. Long Fei took a look at the items that dropped, and sighed in his heart, "I did not manage to obtain a tier 5 immortal root, failure." He needed grade 5 immortal roots. He really needed it. He couldn't release 3 billion experience. The dragon Salia moved, and carried the sword on its shoulder. Long Fei smirked, and stared at Ouyang. Continue. Whoosh. Whoosh. 2 geniuses from the Green Dragon material hall rushed down. This time, their sword techniques were even more powerful, one in front and one behind, sealing Long Fei. There's no retreat. It was completely sealed off by the sword moves. I'm afraid Long Fei will be injured this time. Sigh. Why be so arrogant? Isn't it better to be a bit more restrained? Green Dragon Matrial Hall. The strongest existence in the God Emperor Academy. Every single disciple of the Green Dragon Matrial Hall are all super geniuses. They are all too strong. Just when everyone thought that Long Fei would be injured, Long Fei suddenly jumped. Humph. You'll die even if you jump into the air. A disciple's 10,000 sword shadows came crashing down. In this instant, Sky Tyrant strike. Boom. It directly knocked over a disciple. And it was also at this moment that Long Fei's body moved once again. Sky Tyrant strike. Boom. This set of skills had no cooldown. To be able to attack endlessly, what did two disciples of the Green Dragon Matrial Hall count as? He raised his blade and slashed down twice more. Ding, ding. The system sounded out again, but still did not release a 5th stage Blood Immortal Foundation. Long Fei was a little agitated. He roared angrily and said, "Is there only this many people in your Green Dragon Matrial Hall? Damn it, all of you who want to kill me, come down right now. Disciples of the 18 Matrial Halls, come down if you don't agree with me, I will deal with you all together." Annoyed. Very irritable. Looking at the more than 3 billion experience piled up there, he felt extremely frustrated. Who the hell thought of this? To actually set this kind of threshold for leveling up, F***CKU. If I didn't get my 5th grade immortal route, what would I do? Will it forever remain in the virtual immortals stage? Level was very important. Today was a particularly important day. Was Long Fei still only at the 9th stage of the virtual immortals? He wouldn't be able to obtain the power of the Blood Immortal stage if he didn't level up. But once it was a powerhouse of the Golden Immortal rank, Long Fei would find it very difficult to resist, and even difficult to resist. I have to level up. I have to reveal my grade 5 Immortal Foundation. Long Fei was secretly anxious in his heart. He had already realized that a mysterious powerhouse must have appeared. He had to be prepared. Come on. Ouyang Zhon, aren't you very arrogant? Didn't you always want to kill me? Send out all of your 18 Matrial Halls' disciples. If anyone disagrees today, I will beat them until they submit. Long Fei was extremely arrogant. There was only one way to obtain a Tier 5 Immortal Foundation. Explode. There were still 16 bosses left in 18 Matrial Halls, and they were still not able to challenge them yet. They had to win all the matches in order to be qualified to challenge anyone other than the disciples. Ouyang Zhon stared at Long Fei, his eyes blazing with fire. He roared, "Attack." As soon as he finished, one by one, the senior disciples of the 18 Matrial Halls flew down. In just a few seconds, the stage was filled with people. All of them were the elite disciples of 18 Matrial Halls. Every single one of them was an absolute genius. He challenged so many of them all at once. Is he crazy? No matter how strong Long Fei is, he can't possibly be a match for these 100 over genius warriors, right? Damn, isn't this too crazy? The comments from all around the stands rang out. The eyes of the 8 Fairy Hall Elder narrowed. They looked coldly at Long Fei, who was in the stage, and had no intention of interfering. Pan Sheng was the same. He said with a cold smile, "Fighting against 18 Matrial Halls is equivalent to becoming enemies with the entire God Emperor Academy. I want to see how long you can hold out for." Song Qianqian and the others could not help but worry. There were really too many people in the arena. Moreover, their cultivation were all above Long Fei. How could they be his match? Fat Man Chen walked a few steps forward. He wanted to ensure Long Fei's safety. No matter what happened, he had to ensure Long Fei's safety. This was his promise to Qiu Wandao. This was also something that he had to do. This was a challenge that was impossible to win. The 18 Matrial Halls is so high and mighty. All of you rejected me back then. At that time, I swear that I, Long Fei, will definitely destroy your 18 Matrial Halls one by one. Long Fei laughed sinisterly, like a madman. Today, this oath shall be fulfilled. The more people he had, the more powerful he liked. Because only this way would the drop rate be increased. Kid, today is the day you die. Let's see how long you can continue being so arrogant. Just wait to go to hell. Don't talk nonsense with him, kill him. The revelation soared. More than 100 genius disciples stirred, all of them rushing towards Xiong Longfei. Longfei was not afraid. His aura suddenly exploded, his right hand tightly holding onto the dragon Salia. His body moved, and with a strong force, he suddenly struck out, Sky Tyrant Strike. Boom! A large part of the disciples were knocked into the air. Longfei's body did not stop at all, Dragon Chop. The dragon Salia began dancing in midair. At the same time, the other genius disciples did not stay where they were and did not do anything. They were also crazily attacking Longfei, who was in midair. Explode, explode, explode. Explode for me. Chapter 955, Challenge 16 Bosses. Chapter 955, Challenge 16 Bosses. The slaughter continued. No defense. When Longfei unleashed his dragon chop, he did not defend and continued to kill crazily. Ding, ding, ding ding ding. The system beep continued to ring. However, he still did not reveal his Tier 5 Immortal Foundation. He was still at the 9th stage of the virtual immortals, but he just could not break through. Damn. I don't believe it. Longfei heavily leaped, Sky Tyrant Strike. Violent mountain hit fists. After sending a large group of people flying, Longfei's fists exploded, smashing onto the genius disciples in the air randomly. Bang, bang, bang. One by one, they were blasted off the stage. It was also at this time. Longfei's body was covered with wounds, and blood gushed out like a spring. He did not stop. Ouyang Zhon did not stop either, and continued to shout, "He's almost at his limit, he's almost at his limit. Go, kill him." Longfei was strong. His attacks were sharp and powerful. However, no matter how much stronger he was only a single person. He was unable to fight against the hundreds of senior disciples that came before him. As long as the Sea of Humans battle continued, Longfei would definitely lose. The number of people who fell on the stage continued to increase, and Longfei continued to kill even more crazily. His eyes were filled with blood. The moment his striking energy value reached 100 points, he would immediately release it. Ding! Congratulations to player Longfei for killing senior disciple of God Emperor Academy for obtaining 4000 experience, 230 power of celestial points, and 10 energy values points. Congratulations to player Longfei for obtaining the holy artifact Rotten Wood Godsword. Fuck, I don't want the holy artifact, I want the Tier 5 Immortal Foundation. Longfei cursed angrily. He was really going to level up now. If he did not level up soon, he would not be able to hold on. Because he had exhausted more than half of his health point. It seemed like his strength had not decreased at all, and instead, his killing intent had become fiercer and fiercer. However, the matter of him being injured was not fake, and his health point was also quickly decreasing. He had to level up. Only by upgrading his health point would he be able to recover instantly. Thus, he needed a Tier 5 Immortal Foundation. However, after killing dozens of blood immortal geniuses, all of them had absorbed a Grade 5 Immortal root but were still unable to do anything about it. It didn't matter if it was for the ordinary rate of explosion or the release of the striking energy values attributes, the only thing was that no 5th grade immortal roots had been obtained. Longfei muttered, "System, damn you, are you trying to play me to death? Isn't the rate of dropping Immortal Foundation too low?" Longfei worked hard, but there was one person who was abnormally excited, Yang Huang Ancestor. His mouth was filled with pieces of holy artifact, he was grinning from ear to ear, as though he was celebrating the new year. "Brat, continue, keep going. Ha ha ha. It's really great." Yang Huang Ancestor was very happy. The holy artifact's power was constantly being absorbed, and his power was also continuously getting stronger. Ah! Longfei continued to crazily kill. The elites of the 18 matrial halls continued to rush down. Half an hour later, corpses were everywhere on the stage, and Longfei was still as fierce as before. However, he was still Virtual Immortals level 9 and had not revealed his level 5 Immortal root. I see it. If they want to reveal their Grade 5 Immortal Foundation, then these advanced disciples are out of the question. Longfei's heart quivered. After entering the immortal domain, People rarely exposed their immortal roots. Even after killing hundreds of advanced disciples, he still did not manage to get even one immortal foundation. And then, Long Fei's eyes darkened, he stared at the few disciples remaining on stage, and suddenly moved, killing God Chop. The dragon Salia slashed down. Boom. Half of the arena had been destroyed, and those disciples had also been killed instantly. Long Fei raised his eyes, his voice suddenly roared out, and stared at Ouyang. Who else? I'm just asking, who the hell isn't convinced? His voice intimidated the entire audience. None of the 18 Matrial Halls' disciples dared to rush in again. Long Fei was simply a meat grinder, and if he went down, they would die. They were not his match, and were not on the same level at all. Moreover, they were also crushed by Long Fei's valiant killing intent. Who else? Long Fei continued to roar, no one else? Then I should be the king of personal qualifying fight, right? Now, it's my turn to exercise the authority of a king, right? He couldn't wait. He was annoyed by the 3 billion experience. It was obvious that he could level up, but he just couldn't. What was this? As Long Fei spoke, he slowly got up. But when he heard Long Fei say he would exercise his authority, he sat back down. He wanted to see what Long Fei wanted to do. As long as Long Fei was on stage, he was not worried that Long Fei would run away. Moreover, the current Long Fei only had half a life left, he could no longer escape. With just a mere virtual immortal stage, Pan Sheng was 100% sure that he could defeat Long Fei in 10 moves, and kill Long Fei in 20 moves. Because his cultivation could completely suppress Long Fei. No matter how strong the moves were and how much more powerful the attacks were, they were all limited by their levels. Without a level, they were nothing. Pan Sheng stared at Long Fei and laughed coldly. The higher you stand, the stronger I will be able to show you the moment I step on you. Long Fei, your life is mine. Long Fei kept the dragon Salia. At this moment, he did not think too much, and did not think about any schemes that personal qualifying fight had up his sleeves. He had revealed a Tier 5 immortal foundation because he really wanted to level up. Long Fei stared at Ouyang and laughed. No one is my match, now it's my challenge, right? Ouyang shouted coldly, who do you want to challenge? Long Fei revealed a sinister smile, and said, I want to challenge, you. His finger continuously pointed at the 16 principle of College of Martial Arts Training, and finally pointed at Ouyang, saying, and you. There were a total of 16 principle of College of Martial Arts Training. To Long Fei, they were 16 bosses. It was even the boss that had completed the 18 Arhat missions. The entire training field suddenly became silent. Even the 8 Fairy Hall Elder S were stunned by Long Fei's actions. After challenging the disciples of the 18 Matrial Halls, he was going to challenge the principal of the 18 Matrial Halls? Is he crazy? Chen Tianfei laughed excitedly, and said, Boss is indeed fierce, challenging 16 College of Martial Arts Training S in one go. His too arrogant Song Qianqian frowned as he shouted loudly, Long Fei, don't be rash. Just when everyone was in shock. Ouyang laughed loudly, ha ha ha. Long Fei, you asked for this yourself. And then, Ouyang looked at the 15 chairmen, and laughed, Headmasters, this dog thing is about to ride on our heads and shit, can you bear it? Since he wants to challenge all of us deans, let him know what is called the gap between us. The 15 chairmen were all infuriated. Long Fei was so arrogant that there was no end to it. Boom. The principal of the Formation College of Martial Arts Training descended. Boom, 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 boom. One dean after another fell heavily from the stands, their gazes tightly locked onto Long Fei. Finally, Ouyang also descended from the sky, staring at Long Fei. He laughed, Long Fei, your time of death is up. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled slightly, and with a wave of his right hand, the Pan-Jiu axe was summoned out. He laughed sinisterly, it's time to display my new cultivation skill. Chapter 956, Nox's Great Technique, Severing Platform. Chapter 956, Nox's Great Technique, Severing Platform. Pan-Jiu axe. In that instant, Pan Sheng recognized him. The Pan Jiu axe was a holy artifact that had been passed down in the Pan family for millions of years. Pan Sheng could feel the aura flowing through its body in an instant. Buzz. The power in Pan Sheng's body suddenly sank. At this time, a disciple rushed over and said to Pan Sheng, "Young master, we just received news, the great clan elder, he. Pan Sheng said furiously, "Speak." The Pan family disciple said, "Great elder, you're dead." Their heads were chopped off. Cluck, cluck. Pan Sheng stared at Long Fei, who was on the stage. The anger in his heart was boiling, his teeth chattering loudly. "Long Fei, I will definitely use your life to accompany the great clan elder's death." He was already a child because of Pan Zhon, so Pan Zhon was extremely important to him. Who would have thought that she would actually die now? Pan Sheng's killing intent soared to the limit. In the arena, Long Fei carried his Pan Jiu axe on his shoulder and gave off a vicious aura. Looking at the 16 bosses that surrounded him in a circle, the corners of his mouth slightly curled up as he let out a cold laugh. 16 Principal, you guys can also be considered as the 16 most powerful powerhouses, right? If I kill all of you, then this God Emperor Academy is my king. Ouyang Zhon sneered, "Long Fei, you think too much. Since you're so arrogant that you want to challenge our 16 principles, then don't think you can walk off the stage alive today. You will pay the price for being arrogant. For Principal Vermilion Bird. For the Elixir Branch. Kill him. Kill him. Kill him." The auras of the 16 became ferocious, and pressure after pressure pressed down on Long Fei's head like mountains. The 16 headmasters were all the other powerhouse of the Golden Immortal stage. Very, very strong. The pressure of 16 people combined together and smashed down once again. Long Fei's body suddenly sank as his legs trembled, unable to withstand this pressure. His mind and his sea of consciousness began to stir. Not even the Golden Dragon Guardian was able to withstand it. Long Fei's current level was too low, completely on a different level. Even the Golden Dragon Master's Dragon Guardian could not withstand it. Yang Huang Ancestor slightly said, "Brat, do you want me to make a move?" Yang Huang Ancestor had not fought for a long time. He could feel Long Fei's state of mind, his sea of consciousness was in intense turmoil, his mental state was on the verge of collapse, and Yang Huang Ancestor couldn't help but to worry for Long Fei. Long Fei laughed sinisterly and said, "No need. I will kill them myself." Heh. The stronger he was, the crazier he became. Long Fei said excitedly, "Is that all you have?" He became even more arrogant. Is he crazy? The combined power of 16 other Golden Immortal stage powerhouses is something he simply cannot endure. What is he trying to do? Isn't this Long Fei too arrogant? I was wondering who gave him this confidence. Right now, he is completely crushed. He can't even move a muscle. Discussions started in the surrounding stands. They knew clearly that Long Fei was strong, but no matter how strong he was only a virtual immortal stage, and no matter how strong he wasn't a match for the 16 Golden Immortal powerhouses. Furthermore, there was still the Golden Immortal stage level 7 super powerhouse, Ouyang Zhon. How could he be an opponent? It was completely impossible. Chen Tianfei frowned. He approached the stage once again. He was also a little worried. Aoya was a little worried, and asked, "Will Long Fei be alright?" Song Qianqian also followed and went closer to the stage, and said, "If anything happens to him, everyone must go together and protect Long Fei." Understood. Supreme God used the Great Void Mirror to look at Long Fei, who was being crushed on the stage, and said slightly, 16 headmasters, how are you going to fight? Are the people from the Long family very arrogant? In my opinion, this is a kind of brainless, suicidal maniac. Even if it was Supreme God, he would not be able to see any signs of Long Fei turning the tables on him, because the difference was just too great. Supreme God sneered in his heart, "This will also help you understand the truth of how Powerhouse is king in this world. Then, you can obediently help me search for Dragon Tail Tomb, and help me get there as soon as possible." All of the elders of the Palace Question of God had a disdainful and cold smile on their faces, mocking Long Fei for overestimating his own strength. Arrogant. Long Fei, weren't you being too arrogant just now? Now that you've been crushed to the point that you can't even move, let's see how you still act so arrogantly. Ha ha ha. Brat, prepare to die. A few people laughed loudly. They were happy to see Long Fei being crushed. Long Fei was too arrogant. They had caused many people to feel displeased, and now that they were being crushed, they began to madly vent their anger and mock him. Ouyang Zhon also laughed coldly. Long Fei, how come you have become a dead dog now? Weren't you being arrogant just now? Aren't you arrogant? Now, continue being so arrogant. Kid, today is the day you die. Against our 18 matrial halls? With just trash from a Nantian region like you think you are worthy? When we first rejected you, it was precisely because you were someone who came from Nantian region. Nantian region only produced trash, ha ha ha. The 16 chairmen ruthlessly laughed at him. After being crushed by Long Fei for 3 whole days, they could finally vent out their resentment. At this moment, he couldn't help but laugh. The pressure became even more severe as Long Fei's body bent down heavily and his legs trembled crazily. His mind was in turmoil as the aura in his sea of consciousness churned. Long Fei's face was pale white, and he couldn't even breathe loudly. It had to be said that the combined strength of 16 golden immortal powerhouses far exceeded his expectations. However, Long Fei wasn't anxious at all. He was still waiting, still waiting. Suddenly, Ouyang Zhon suddenly roared out, and said, "Brat, kneel down." At this moment, Ouyang Zhon retracted his might, and turned it into an even stronger pressure as it pressed down. The instant his pressure retracted, Long Fei's body suddenly stiffened. The Pan-Jiu axe on his shoulder descended and shuddered. Both of his hands clenched, as he suddenly hooked them towards the courtyard of the College of Martial Arts Training, which had a golden exclamation mark floating above his head. He then pulled. This move is called Merciless Iron Hand. He had comprehended a skill. The array master was pulled down to Long Fei's side, and the Pan-Jiu axe slashed down. 2 drops of black blood floated above the sect leader's body. Without waiting for him to run, Long Fei slashed again. 3 drops. 4 drops. Swiftly launching an attack, he stuck to the side of the other party, not giving him any chance to retaliate at all. At the same time, the amount of black blood flowing from the head of the formation spell formation was gradually increasing. 5 drops. As Long Fei looked at the 5 points of black blood on the formation dean's body, the corner of his mouth curled up. At this time, a blood-red glow surrounded his body. Just like blood. Ding. Congratulations to the player Long Fei for activating Nox Sa's Decapitator. Do you want to release it? The corner of Long Fei's mouth quirked into an excited smile. Release. He leaped. With both hands on the axe, he chopped down towards the head of the College of Martial Arts Training's Array Formation headmaster. I'll let you experience my new move. Boom. Chapter 957, 15 Chops. Chapter 957, 15 Chops. The sword chopped down. Lightning-type basket. The Pan-Jiu axe also erupted with incomparable strength at this moment. The power to split heaven and earth apart was unleashed. It was extremely terrifying. Rumble. A loud sound rang out in the air. A powerful force slashed down. Boom. The head of the array headmaster was chopped off. One-hit kill. The strength of the guillotine. This was the skill that Long Fei had used 180,000 skill redemption point to exchange for inside the God Emperor Fairyland. It was a complete mess. The entire audience was silent. In that instant, Long Fei rose to the top and killed the formation master within half a second. Was the golden immortal powerhouse so unbearable? Killed in just like that? Many people felt their scalps go numb. They could not understand what this power was. What kind of sacred art was Long Fei releasing? Chen Tianfei roared in anger. The boss is powerful and domineering, pulling so much cool that it can explode the heavens, ha ha ha. The shock of their souls was simply too great. It was indescribable shock because they couldn't understand it. That was why it was so mysterious. And because it was so mysterious, it caused their hearts to tremble even more. Just this strong. Pan Sheng's brows tightened. He could not understand this move either. On Palace Question of God. Those high and mighty Fairy Hall elders' faces turned cold and ugly, as if they had been slapped in the face. Supreme God's expression also secretly changed as he slightly narrowed his eyes. However, and this is not the end. Out of the 16 bosses, one was dead while the other 15 were left. Long Fei looked at the items dropped by the system and cursed in his heart, F***ck, I still haven't obtained a rank 5 immortal root. Then let's continue. With a move, he rushed into the group of bosses. With both hands holding onto the Pan-Gu axe, he suddenly turned around. The axe rotated. A powerful slicing force formed. All of the headmasters had a little bit of black blood on their bodies. The amount of health on their heads was also decreasing bit by bit. Ouyang Zhon quickly came to his senses, shouted loudly, "Everyone stay away from him. You guys use coercion, I'll attack." "You want to leave?" "No way." The Pan-Gu axe in Long Fei's hands suddenly hooked, and with a pull, it pulled back several headmasters. After continuously attacking, it stared at a headmaster who was floating with exclamation marks in its eyes. 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops, 5 drops. Buzz. The cooldown on Nox's decapitation platform instantly ended. As long as it beheaded someone, its cooldown would end in an instant. In that moment, Long Fei jumped out heavily and shouted out, // beheaded. Die. Boom. Long Fei's body turned blood red again, as though he was enraged with blood. He leapt high into the air, and ruthlessly slashed at the head of one of the principal. Crack. Head severed, body dead, system beep ringing. Long Fei still did not reveal his rank 5 immortal foundation. He thought in his heart, damn, I'm really going to go crazy. Is rank 5 immortal foundation so difficult? I don't believe this. The more he wanted to explode, the less explosive it would be. Was truly very injured. Because, as long as his skills were interrupted, as long as he was unable to kill anyone within a certain period of time, then the power of his great technique would enter a long cooldown. Even if there was only one golden immortal powerhouse left, without any external force, he would be crushed to death in an instant. Again. A massacre in every direction. His body spun again, then he pulled, launching a barrage of attacks. 5 drops. The third slash. Boom. With the same movement, he leapt high into the air and smashed down with the lightning bolt in the form of a basket. A bloody mist appeared around Long Fei's body. Ding. The system beep rang. Still no immortal foundation exploded out. 3 slashes in a row, 3 slashes in a row. Long Fei completed the quest in a short span of half a minute. His heart also started to worry. LOL game, this skill can only kill 5 people, there's a total of 5 enemies, at most 5 kills, how many kills can he do? Will there be restrictions? I can't care so much anymore. If you don't destroy the immortal foundation, don't stop attacking. Long Fei roared out in his heart. Regardless of whether or not there were any restrictions, he wanted to cut them all down, and send them all the way to the guillotine. It exploded all the way down. Boom. 4th killer. Boom. 5th kill. Long Fei saw a skill that was on cooldown, and in the instant that he killed it, the skill did not go into cooldown, and he became excited in his heart. Ha ha ha. Kill them all. While Long Fei was killing his colleagues, his body also received a heavy blow. Ouyang Zhon and some of the headmasters continued to attack, and each of their attacks caused huge damage to Long Fei. Long Fei was a madman. So what if his health point was dropping crazily? So what if many parts of his body had turned into bloody holes? He wanted to cut it down. 6th slash. Boom. The 7th slash. Boom. One after another, heads flew off, bodies fell one after another, experience points superimposing as the wounds on Long Fei's body superimposed. The wound was painful and the killing was exciting. Long Fei was now in a mixture of pain and excitement. Everyone in the audience was staring at him. He didn't understand at all. Was completely stunned by Long Fei's explosive strength. 7 chops. The 7 headmasters of the Golden Immortal Powerhouse S were killed. This Long Fei is too terrifying, isn't he? What does he want to do? Could it be that he wants to kill all of the 18 Matrial Halls' principals? My God. His head was going numb, and even his brain was on the verge of collapsing. The president of the 18 Matrial Halls, the 18 strongest people of the God Emperor Academy, They controlled everything in the God Emperor Academy. If they were all killed, then the God Emperor Academy's strength will probably be greatly weakened at that time. On Palace question of God, an elder immediately said, "Supreme God, we cannot let this brat continue acting recklessly. He must be suppressed." I second that. Me too. Who cares if he's a Long family or some other kind of Nantian region, we have to suppress this brat. Otherwise, the God Emperor Academy will be destroyed by him. Supreme God also seemed to have realized something. He didn't want Long Fei to create a new college of martial arts training. Even if it was created, he would let it be destroyed. But now, not only did Long Fei want to establish a new college of martial arts training, he also wanted to monopolize the entire God Emperor Academy. Supreme God thought of Qiu Wandao. Thinking of his theory, God Emperor Academy that was free from the control of the Palace question of God. Suddenly, Supreme God's eyes suddenly opened wide. "Long Fei, you are too arrogant. It seems like I'm not going to teach you a lesson. You really do not put me in your eyes." And then, his idea immediately sent a sound transmission to Pan Sheng. It was also at this time. Long Fei came down from above and used his axe to chop down. 15th/. Ouyang Zhon, it's your turn now. Chapter 958 No One Can Stop Me. Chapter 958 No One Can Stop Me. Buzz. Nox's guillotine was activated once again. Pointing the axe in his hand, Long Fei pointed to the lonely Ouyang Zhon on the stage and laughed coldly. "Ouyang Zhon, it's your turn." 15 of the 16 chairmen were slain. His body was decapitated. He died an incomparably miserable death. It wasn't a challenge, it was a one-sided massacre. Originally, everyone thought that Long Fei was too arrogant, and would be tortured to death. Long Fei did not die, 15 headmasters died. It was hard to imagine. It was like a scene from the infernal realm. Long Fei's entire body was covered in blood, both of their gazes were gloomy as they stared at Ouyang Zhon, and said, "You are the only one that flipped your 18 material halls over. Ouyang Zhon, didn't you always want my life? Come now. Think of all the things he did." When he thought of Dao Feng, Fat Men Chen and the others, who almost died on the stage, and how Xiao Ying, Han Shueji and Ling Long were almost tainted on the stage, the anger in Long Fei's heart grew even more. Towards those who deserved to be killed, Long Fei would definitely not be merciful in the slightest. So what if he was the principal of the 18 material halls? If they provoked him, they would have to kill him. Ouyang Zhon looked at the corpse on the stage, and his body started to tremble. In the short few minutes, he seemed to not be in the human world, but in hell. Too terrifying. No matter how they attacked, Long Fei would not die. Moreover, the more he killed, the more valiant he became. That heaven-splitting axe of his was dyed with the blood of the 15 headmasters. It was incomparably terrifying. At this moment, the Golden Immortal Stage Level 7 Ouyang Zhon's heart was on the verge of collapse. He felt that Long Fei was not a human at all, but a monster, a killing machine. "Ouyang Zhon!" Long Fei suddenly roared. "Come, didn't you want to kill me? Aren't you always targeting Laozi? Come up now." His voice was deafening. Ouyang Zhon was so scared that his legs immediately went soft. His eyes trembled as he looked at Long Fei and said, "Long Fei, you can't kill me." He kept retreating. "Ha ha ha. Can't kill you? So what if you're a green dragon hegemon?" Long Fei gave a cold laugh, and said, "So it's Principal Shenlong, I'll also kill him." Suddenly, Long Fei's body moved, the Pan Jiu axe in his hands dragged on the ground, sparks flying in all directions. Long Fei's blooded body charged forward, and looked at the last person. The last of the 18 Arhat missions. No matter what, Long Fei would not let him escape. "Ouyang Zhon, die for me." Long Fei roared. Ouyang Zhon was so scared that his face turned white. He had already lost his ability to fight, and was rolling and shouting, save me, Fairy Hall Elder save me, hurry up and save me." This was the first time a 9th stage Virtual Immortals cultivator scared a 7th stage Golden Immortal like this. If a person's heart was broken down, then his battle prowess would be practically zero. Fighting. It was a matter of strength, but once you meet a lunatic who doesn't care for his life, you'll find that power is useless. He just wants to kill you. You'll be scared. Ouyang Zhon was like that. His cultivation was much higher than Long Fei's, but when Long Fei consecutively killed 15 people, he was instantly scared silly and did not know how to retaliate. There was only one thing on his mind: life. Even the gods can't save you. The Pan-Jiu axe in Long Fei's hand moved, and suddenly pulled. Shua. He turned around. Shua. Ouyang Zhon crawled on the ground, his entire body shivering. The principal of the Green Dragon Matrial Hall, who was so far away, had now turned into such a state. Who could imagine? Long Fei continued to attack. 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops, 4 drops, 5 drops. Buzz. Long Fei entered the Blood Fury realm and activated the guillotine skill. The stench of blood that erupted from his body made Ouyang Zhon pee even more as he shouted loudly, "Don't kill me, don't kill me." At this moment, 19 figures suddenly rushed out, shouting out, "Long Fei, enough." It was also at this time. The 8 Fairy Hall Elders instantly rushed out and hovered above Long Fei's head. Their eyebrows sunk and they shouted, "Kid, have you killed enough?" 19 and the Fairy Hall Elder appeared at the same time. Moreover, they were all floating above Long Fei's head. With such a high and mighty attitude, Long Fei was very unhappy. So what if he was the law enforcement agency's master? So what if you're an elder of a palace question of God? Ouyang Zhon was also instantly excited, and said, 19, save me. Quickly kill this brat. Lord Fairy Hall Elder, quickly kill this brat. He killed so many headmasters, he deserves to die 1,000 times for his crimes. Kill him, kill him. He would only be at ease if Long Fei died. Only then could the fear in his heart disappear. If Long Fei didn't die, he would live in fear forever. 19th Dean and Fairy Hall Elder appeared at the same time. This made Ouyang Zhon feel like he was grabbing onto a lifesaver in a vast ocean. He roared at Long Fei, "Brat, it's time for your death, ha ha ha. Kill me if you dare. I am the principal of the Green Dragon Matrial Hall, the most talented disciples are all in my Green Dragon Matrial Hall, Palace Question of God will not let me die, ha ha ha. Ha ha ha." Ouyang Zhon laughed very excitedly. Since Fairy Hall Elder and 19 attacked at the same time, then he definitely wouldn't die. Of course. This was what Ouyang Zhon thought himself. The corner of Long Fei's mouth raised slightly, and he coldly laughed, saying, "I won't let you die. Hee hee. Ouyang Zhon, I said it earlier, when the Heavenly Emperor comes, he can't even think of stopping me." His body moved. In that instant, 19 frowned his forehead and a strong pressure came crashing down. He shouted out, "Long Fei, did I make you stop and hear it?" Long Fei's body did not stop moving. The pressure exuded by the 8 Fairy Hall Elders also came crashing down as they shouted, "Brat, you're too arrogant. If you dare touch him today, I'll make sure you die without a burial ground." "How dare I? Ha ha ha." Long Fei laughed crazily and said, "What's wrong with this kind of arrogance? I'll let you experience what it means to be arrogant." He roared in his heart. Level 7 Peerless, open, boom. A attribute power of 128 times erupted, in that instant breaking through the bindings of the pressure, his body leaped, the Pan-Jiu axe rose up in the air. His aura was like a god of death. For the task of killing the 18 Arhats, Ouyang Zhon had to kill them. Before his immortal foundation could be revealed, Ouyang Zhon had to die. The boss must be killed. Those insidious and despicable things that Ouyang Zhon did, he had to kill. Long Fei roared, "No one can stop me, no one. Ouyang Zhon, die." Boom. Chapter 959 System. Are you trying to send me to heaven? Chapter 959 System. Are you trying to send me to heaven? Unstoppable. Ouyang Zhon looked at the Pan-Jiu axe that was falling down from the sky and screamed, "Save me." Before he could finish his words, the Pan-Jiu axe then slashed down. Crack. Boom. The axe cut the head off, and the body was split into 2. The system notification sound also sounded at this time, and Long Fei also moved his idea, release the berserk energy. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Ouyang Zhon for obtaining 190,000 experience, 18,000 power of celestial and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Azure Rainbow Divine Sword. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Azure Dragon Battle Armor. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 12 Immortal Crystals. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 5th grade Immortal Foundation Blue Spirit Grass. Do you wish to fuse it? The system beep continued to ring, and Long Fei also started to become extremely nervous, because this was the last boss of the 18 bosses, and also the strongest boss. When Long Fei heard the words Grade 5 Immortal Root, he instantly became excited. Damn! It's finally out. Finally, it's out. Long Fei was on the verge of tears. Unable to level up with over 3 billion experience points, this was such a painful thing. Now it was finally revealed. However, when Long Fei saw a rank 5 Immortal Foundation, his heart shivered. Damn, my luck is so bad. Why is it a Spirit Grass Immortal Root? Why isn't it a Battle Immortal Root? Long Fei did not merge them immediately. It was also at this time. The system sounded out once again. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for training Killing Thought to level up. You have obtained the Blood Fury effect. Heh. He can level up after killing? Long Fei was secretly shocked. Because he had killed them too quickly and decisively, and because he had felt too good about it, his Killing Thought had immediately transformed, becoming an even stronger killing path. This type of killing technique carried a powerful pressure. With the Blood Fury skill, this was a type of boost to his strength. The Yang Huang ancestor slightly said, all types of Dao techniques must be upgraded. Whether it is the power of 3,000 great Daos or the power of 10,000 small Daos, they will all increase along with your training. It's just that. Your killing path can only be broken through by gaining insights into the profound truths of killings. Obviously, you've just killed 16 people in a row. You're not afraid of death, not caring about obstructing them, and you also have a murderous intent in your heart that has allowed your killing intent to break through. Brat, from today onwards, you are truly on the right path. The path of killing is very difficult, and the slightest mistake will lead to eternal damnation. You must be careful, and do not let the path of killing swallow your heart and control you. Yang Huang ancestor said with a lingering fear. The risk factor for killing one's way through tens of thousands of Daos was the highest. Even in the Chaos Realm, there were not many people who walked the path of kill. The more you kill while cultivating, the more punishment you would suffer from. If one wanted to break through the plane of existence and undergo the baptism of heavenly tribulation, that would be the truly terrifying moment. The Yang Huang ancestor did not stop Long Fei from cultivating the way of killing because from the very beginning, Long Fei had always walked down a path of killing with no path of retreat. This was also the only path that suited him. No matter what happens in the future, the Yang Huang ancestor would do everything to protect him. Long Fei said seriously, I'll remember. Since I have set foot on this path, I will bravely advance without taking even half a step back. I will also not allow any power to control my body. My life is not under the heavens. Yang Huang ancestor laughed out loud and said, what a great saying, I won't be able to control myself from the heavens. At this moment, the system sounded out again. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the 18 Arhats quest. You have received a reward of 1 million experience and 30,000 power of celestial point. Ding. System evaluation. Ding. Mission rating, S+. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering the fusion of the 18 Arhat attributes and the refinement of the Arhat King Kong. Level of condensing to 1%. A progress bar appeared in Long Fei's mind. As he moved forward bit by bit, Long Fei became excited in his heart. Arhat King Kong, is this the 8th King Kong? Ha ha ha. If the black knife is a arrogant knife King Kong, then I have gathered all my 8 King Kong. Oh yeah. Yes. We need to capture Aoya's Sword Force King Kong first. With the activation of the Arhat King Kong, all of the 8 King Kongs had appeared. Now, Long Fei only needed to complete the Arhat King Kong one by one. Now, All they had to do was wait for Oya to be captured. When Long Fei was really excited, the system beep would ring again at this time. It rang continuously and even Long Fei was a little confused. Damn it. The system seems a little abnormal today. What's the situation? He really wants me to go to heaven. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Ouyang Zhon. As soon as he finished, a shining gift package box appeared in the system interface in his mind. Long Fei clicked it and a gold light flashed as a card appeared in Long Fei's mind. Long Fei was startled. What is this? The idea once again clicked. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for activating the card. You have gained 100 experience, 100 power of Celestial, and a special 100 points reward. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Hand of Noxus. Do you want to summon him? Gudong. Long Fei swallowed hard, looking at the extremely ferocious card, just like a wild beast, with skin of an expert. It's about to go up. This tempo is definitely going to reach the heavens. Long Fei's little heart could not take it anymore, she came too suddenly. Completely unable to adapt. And then, Long Fei immediately looked at the properties of Nox. Hero, Hand of Noxus, Basketball Expert, Rank, Saint Description. Possessed all skills of a hero, level increase will grant you equipment, and equipment will be chosen by the player. Looking at the hero description, Long Fei was completely dumbfounded. It can even be equipped. Blackie. Bloody Hand. Still all of the damage output equipment. Damn it, system your head, are you trying to make my heart explode? It feels so good, I like it, ha ha ha. Long Fei laughed sinisterly. Thinking that he still had a set of rewards from the God Emperor Fairyland, he laughed in his heart. Will he also reward that hero with a card? Heh! Ha ha ha! Long Fei's blood boiled with excitement. At this moment, Long Fei bellowed, damn it, I only have one question, who else? It was amazing. And with his words, the peace of the entire martial arts arena was broken. 19 flew into a rage. All the members of the 8 Fairy Hall Elder S had extremely ugly expressions. Long Fei had killed someone right under their noses and did not place them in his eyes at all. The rage raged. It was also at this time that Pan Sheng, who was in the stands, slowly stood up. His gaze carried killing intent as he said coldly, now it's my turn to go up on stage. Chapter 960, Fighting Pan Sheng. Chapter 960, Fighting Pan Sheng. He was completely a madman. He had killed 16 College of Martial Arts training principal consecutively, and he himself was also severely injured. How fierce was this? A roar woke everyone up. Long Fei. 19 was the first to shout out in anger. The 8 Fairy Hall Elder S descended together, their eyes filled with killing intent. They thought that they could control everything in the tournament, but it seems like they could not control anything at all. The principal of 18 Matrial Halls was completely killed by Long Fei. The current God Emperor Academy could be said to be in chaos. This was not good for the layout of the Palace Question of God. The Fairy Hall Elder is about to make his move. Everyone, get ready. With Song Qianqian's order, before she could even finish speaking, Aoya flew out and directly landed beside Long Fei on the stage, staring at one of the Fairy Hall Elder. Aoya's eyes were filled with killing intent. The Fairy Hall Elder also disdainfully sneered, do you want to die like your father? Aoya's heart was filled with rage. At this time, boom. Chen Tianfei heavily landed, try touching my boss. Boom, Song Qianqian also fell down. Man Tuoluo, Xiao Ying, Ling Long, and the members of Arrogant Dragon Squad all rushed to the stage, protecting Long Fei on his left and right side. He stared at Long Fei and shouted, Long Fei, you want to rebel? Long Fei smiled faintly, and said, why do I want to rebel? They have always been the ones who wanted to take my life. Law Enforcement Agency leader, may I ask, did I do something wrong? The muscles in the corners of his eyes twitched slightly as he said, you killed 18 principal of College of Martial Arts training, and countless genius disciples were killed by you. God Emperor Academy's strength decreased by half in an instant, and now you ask me what you did wrong? Long Fei, are you not clear about what you have done? More than half of 18 Matrial Hall's elite disciples had died. The 18 principals had all fallen. God Emperor Academy's power was not as simple as it seemed to be. It had only just started and a series of chain reactions had yet to occur. Once this matter was spread out, the God Emperor Academy would probably end up as a second-rate academy. Moreover, the might of the Western Decil territory, without the deterrence of the God Emperor Academy, would become stronger and would be a probing attack. When that time came, who would be able to stop him? Long Fei shrugged his shoulders and said, 19th Principal, you need to understand something. Do you think it's me who wants to kill them? Which one of the people I killed didn't want to kill me? Which one of you doesn't want to step on me? I issued a challenge to them, they can refuse. Did I force them to accept it? They can admit or refuse to accept the challenge of the 18 principals. Who told them to rush down here and die by my hands? Just say that I'm the one causing trouble. I'm afraid you know who is causing this, right? 19 pairs of eyes stared at him and coldly said, you are trying to force the truth out of me. The corner of Long Fei's mouth lifted, and said, I don't care what you say, team competition, alchemy competition, personal qualifying fight, I have already won, 5,000 points is enough. Today, I want to establish a new college of martial arts training. In addition, one more thing, all 18 principal of College of Martial Arts Training were defeated by one person. That is, I am now the leader of the 18 Matrial Halls. Long Fei slightly smiled, looked at 19, and said, according to the rules, what I said should be correct, right? 19 laughed sinisterly, and said, Long Fei, I have to say, you're really thinking too much, aren't you? I haven't even punished you, yet you directly turned yourself into a dean. You still have law enforcement agency in your eyes. Are there still palace question of goddess? Long Fei laughed. Do you want to speak the truth? 19 looked at Long Fei. Long Fei said, to be honest, I really do not think much of you. How dare you? How dare you? Brat, you're courting death. 19 and 8 Fairy Hall Elder S roared in anger. Long Fei's actions and words had undoubtedly touched upon their nerves. Who would dare to be so disrespectful to the palace question of God? You're looking to die, right? Long Fei stared at one of the Fairy Hall Elder, and said, I am just looking to die. If you have the guts, come and bite me, why would I be afraid of you? He bellowed. He released a strong killing intent and thought to himself, I just want to test the power of Nox. The call card S had yet to be used. How strong was Nox? How strong were the saint-level cards? To be honest, Long Fei really wanted to know. The Fairy Hall Elder's eyes turned sinister as he said solemnly, if I don't teach you a lesson today, you'll be out of your mind. Buzz. With his fighting strength activated, the chi on Fairy Hall Elder's body burst out, forming a strong pressure. Completely infuriated, Long Fei frowned. Aoya took a step forward, pointed the revenge blade in her hands at the Fairy Hall Elder, and said, I want to avenge my father, and for my mother. At this moment, a figure descended from the skies. He landed between Aoya and the Fairy Hall Elder, his aura forming a huge wave that directly blew Aoya away. Long Fei slightly retreated, grabbing onto Aoya who was in the air. Both of his eyes stared straight at Pan Sheng. The man was Pan Sheng. Pan Sheng's face carried a cold smile, and had a haughty look. He looked at Long Fei with contempt and said, Is my name something that a trash like you can call? The entire martial arts practice hall was also in an uproar. First Devil Slayer, Pan Sheng? Didn't he go to the outer space palace? Wow, the power aura on his body is so strong. The number 1 Devil Slayer, the strongest person among the young generation of the gods' martial continent. He is an invincible genius and also a legacy disciple of the supreme god. Does he want Long Fei to take action? In Thunder Mountains, he defeated Long Fei in one move, and right now, it has been half a year, his cultivation is unfathomable. No matter how strong Long Fei is, he shouldn't be his match, right? Discussions broke out. The influence of the Devil Slayer was extremely strong. Compared to half a year ago, Pan Sheng had become much stronger, the haughtiness and pride in his eyes had grown by leaps and bounds. In his eyes, Long Fei was still the same as half a year ago, unable to withstand a single blow. Although he had killed 16 principal powerhouses in a row, Pan Sheng still did not place him in his eyes. Because his cultivation realm had already reached the Yuanxian realm, an existence strong enough to crush Long Fei. Long Fei slightly smiled, and said, I do not have the qualifications to call you by your name, right? Pan Sheng, you bastard, what do you think about this name? Pan Sheng squinted his eyes, revealing killing intent. Then he said to the 8 Fairy Hall elders, leave him to me. Half a year ago, I was able to crush him like a dead dog. His battle intent began to blaze. Long Fei said to Chen Tianfei and the others, you may leave first. Song Qianqian slightly said, Long Fei, this person is too strong. Long Fei laughed, half a year ago, I lost, now I want him dead. Because he had his eyes on the Pan Jiu sword too. So, I'm going to kill him. Chapter 961, Blend of Fairy Vein. Chapter 961, Blend of Fairy Vein. Seeing Pan Sheng's appearance, Long Fei was secretly surprised. He's the boss of the Academy's competition? Golden. The golden light emitting from his body was even more intense than the one coming from the body of the 18 Matrial Halls' principal. Since he appeared at this time as well, and as the champion, that would inevitably be the boss. Long Fei looked up at the sky and muttered to himself in his heart, Supreme God, this is also what you mean, right? The people on the stage all left. The 8 Fairy Hall elders looked at Long Fei, their eyes filled with ridicule. It was as if everything was under their control. As the Reaper, Pan Sheng would come out in the end and the first Devil Slayer would once again shine. As long as he was able to defeat Long Fei, the influence of the Pan family would surge to an unprecedented high point. It had to be said that Pan Sheng's play was very beautiful. However, the premise was that he had to win. Only Long Fei and him were left on the stage. Long Fei looked at Pan Sheng. At this time, he did not have any rank 5 immortal roots, so the use of blue spirit grass immortal roots was not very useful to Long Fei. No rush. In the beginning, Long Fei was very anxious to not reveal his immortal foundation, but now that he did, Long Fei was actually not worried at all. Pan Sheng's gaze darkened as he stared at Long Fei with disdain. Long Fei, you are not my opponent. I'll give you a chance to lessen the pain, kneel down, kowtow, I will let you die without any pain. Very confident. It showed the confidence of a powerhouse. In his eyes, Long Fei was vulnerable. He did not place Long Fei in his eyes at all. A 9th stage virtual immortals cultivator was nothing more than trash in his eyes. Long Fei sneered, raised the Pan Jiu axe in his hand and said, do you know how Pan Zhong died? Just like them, I killed them all. Pan Sheng, if you didn't come out today, then it would be fine, at least you could live a few more years, but you didn't die yet you ran out instead. Aren't you courting death? I'll give you a chance to live. Kneel down and sing a song for me. If you make me happy, maybe I will let you live for a few more years. Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, the anger and killing intent in Pan Sheng's heart surged, his gaze turned cold. You're courting death. Sure, Pan Sheng's figure disappeared. So fast. Brat, be careful, his cultivation is above the golden immortal peak realm, he is probably in the Yuanxian realm, your current cultivation is not his match. Yang Huang and the old man quickly warned as he was constantly paying attention to the dangerous atmosphere around them. Pan Sheng was extremely fast. Long Fei couldn't react at all, he couldn't even see what was happening. Moreover, at this time, the Nox Zac platform was in its cooldown state and could not be used anymore for a short period of time. Boom. With his chest splitting apart, Long Fei's body caved in as he explosively retreated. The Pan Jiu axe's head in his hands also fell to the ground. His body flew out like a remnant thread. Bang! He heavily smashed onto the ground, and before Long Fei could stand up, Pan Sheng's figure disappeared once again. Even a trash like you dares to be so arrogant in front of me. Long Fei, you are too weak, understand? Boom. Another move, and Long Fei was sent flying again. Long Fei tried to resist. However, his reaction speed could not keep up, his strength could not keep up, and everything else could not keep up with Pan Sheng's speed. He did not even have this feeling when dealing with powerhouse of the golden immortal rank. Their strength was truly different. The difference between the strength of golden immortal rank and the strength of Yuanxian was like heaven and earth. Amongst the 9 great realms of the immortal domain, the Yuanxian is a hurdle. The difference of 1 level was like the difference between heaven and earth. It was an insurmountable existence. Damn! Long Fei was not convinced in his heart. Glancing at his health point, he shouted angrily in his heart, "This father doesn't believe it yet." Buzz. Level 7 Unrivaled, Open. A attribute power of 128 times exploded out. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. At this time, Pan Sheng's figure disappeared once again. "I can't see, I still can't see." Long Fei continued to look and feel Pan Sheng's speed. Even when he unleashed his unparalleled level 7, he was still unable to sense Pan Sheng's position. The difference in level was simply too great. Boom! Bang! With a loud sound, Long Fei was once again sent flying. Pan Sheng's figure landed. "Long Fei, continue being so arrogant. Didn't you want to prove that the people of the Nantian region are not trash? Didn't you want to prove that your Long family people are powerful? Didn't you threaten to step on my Pan family again? What is it now? How did he turn into a dead dog?" Pan Sheng's voice exploded within the martial arts arena. Very arrogant. Very arrogant. The successive blows just now had completely crushed Long Fei. Long Fei didn't even have the chance to retaliate. Everyone in the martial arts arena were stunned. He was strong for Long Fei to be able to kill the 18 principals, but Pan Sheng was stronger than him, and that was the disparity. This also showed how strong Pan Sheng was, and how incomparable he was. Moreover, Pan Sheng acted as if he was on the top, as if he was a superior. As soon as his voice fell, the martial arts arena began to discuss with him. The number 1 Devil Slayer is truly worthy of being called the number 1 Devil Slayer. No matter how strong Long Fei is, he is no match for Lord Pan Sheng. Ha ha ha. Let's see if he still dares to be arrogant. Now that he has been abused like a dog, he deserves it. The difference in realm is too great, is it not unfair? Pan Sheng's cultivation has reached the Yuanxian realm, but Long Fei is the virtual immortal stage. The difference is too great. Fair. The word fairness did not exist in Senior Sister. Long Fei asked for it. It was very long and was extremely arrogant. But what about now? Just a dead dog, ha ha ha. What about those who call themselves dragons? Why isn't there a sound now? All of you have become mute. Many people started to mock Long Fei. Mocking him because he was arrogant and conceited, like a dead dog in front of Pan Sheng, he had no way of resisting. 19 pairs of hands crossed over his chest as the law enforcement agency floated in the air, laughing coldly. The 8 Fairy Hall Elder S were the same. They too had a haughty and aloof look, with complacent sneers hanging on their faces. Seeing Long Fei's complete destruction, they all revealed a look of despise, as they did not have any intention of stopping him. Such an arrogant person should be taught a lesson. A fierce lesson. Let him know how high the sky is and how thick the earth is. Many people looked forward to seeing Long Fei's joke. From the start of the competition to now, Long Fei's arrogance had crushed them. Now that they finally saw what they wanted to see, many people burst out in laughter. Fat Man Chen looked at the bloody Long Fei on the stage, and started to move closer to the stage. Pan Sheng looked at the dying Long Fei with a complacent expression. He sneered and said, "When I was in Thunder Mountains, I could kill you, but I didn't kill you because you don't even have the qualifications to be killed by me. Today, you are still the same, but..." Pan Sheng's voice grew louder, "For the God Emperor Academy's innocent deaths, today I will kill you with my own hand." Long Fei did not care about him at all, and muttered to himself, "Seems like I really have to raise my level increase. If that's the case, fuse." Chapter 962, Fucking Hit Me. Chapter 962, Fucking Hit Me. He really did not want to merge with an immortal foundation that was not compatible with his cultivation level. This was the reason why Long Fei had yet to fuse with the blue spirit grass. He only wanted to fuse with a fighting type of immortal foundation, who knew that Ouyang Zhon would only fuse a kind of spirit grass immortal root, and it was even a useless blue spirit grass. Long Fei really didn't want to fuse them, but now he was forced to the edge of a cliff. Fuse. Long Fei's voice sunk as the blue spirit grass disappeared. His body frantically absorbed the blue spirit grass's energy. Fusion. Fuse what? What else can you fuse with at this time? Blend of fairy vein. So what if you broke through to the blood immortal realm? He's still a piece of trash, ha ha ha. Pan Sheng was not in a hurry to make a move on Long Fei. He wanted to tease him and stomp hard on his face. Moreover, he really enjoyed playing with Long Fei. Boom, boom, boom. Long Fei's body kept on releasing the sound of energy rumbling. The blend of fairy vein needed a little more time. Arrogant. There's only one outcome for you to act arrogantly in front of me, just you wait. Long Fei's body quickly absorbed the Immortal Foundation's power. The Class 5 Immortal Foundation, Blue Spirit Grass's power was crazily being devoured by him, and at the same time, his experience slot started to vibrate. How many levels can a 3 billion experience reach? Long Fei looked forward to it in his heart. What is he doing? At this time, the blend of fairy vein, has he gone crazy? So what if the fusion is successful? At most, he is only at the first stage of the Blood Immortal stage. There is nothing he can do, he is simply no match for Pan Sheng. I think he's just deliberately mystifying. He can't come up with anything special. Young Master Pan, don't waste time with him. Kill him, kill him, kill him. Revenge for the 18 principles. Revenge for our dead disciples. Kill him. His voice grew stronger and stronger. Pan Sheng also laughed complacently as he looked at Long Fei, and laughed excitedly. Long Fei, did you hear that? Then go to hell. In that instant, Pan Sheng's body moved. Boom. The power of the Yuanxian realm exploded outwards. One palm. Pangu creating the heavens. Boom. The energy in his palm tumbled, and heavily smashed onto Long Fei's chest. His strength was incomparably thick. Boss. Long Fei. Young Master Long. Fat Men Chen and the others were so scared that their faces turned white. The power in that palm was too strong. A 9th stage virtual immortal's cultivation could not handle the power. Long Fei did not go to defend. His body was sent flying. His chest split open and his body was about to explode from the massive palm force. However, at this moment, a system notification rang out. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Blood Immortal level 1. What did leveling up mean? Even if Long Fei's heart was pierced, as long as his health point remained a little more, he would still be able to live through the upgrade and be full of blood. Long Fei landed on the ground and continued with his blend of fairy vein-s. Pan Sheng's originally proud face suddenly stiffened. His idea could feel that Long Fei's body had completely recovered following his palm strike and the wounds from before had all healed. What was going on? Is he still human? He's still alive from one palm strike. It's fine if he doesn't die, but look at the wounds on his body, they have all healed. Could it be that Pan Sheng's power was a type of healing power? Or could it be that Pan Sheng's power is simply weak? It was too strange. The 8 Great Fairy Hall Elder didn't understand what was going on. They knew very well how strong Pan Sheng's power was just now. 10 virtual immortal stage warriors would also be killed in an instant, but Long Fei was fine. Many people rubbed their eyes, thinking that they were hallucinating. Long Fei sat cross-legged and healed all the wounds on his body. Long Fei's lips curled into a cold smile and said, Pan Sheng, is that all you've got? Didn't you eat in the morning? Aren't you being too weak? Very arrogant. It was extremely savage. Long Fei stared at Pan Sheng with a look of despise, hooked his fingers, and said, Come, come, UF** King came to hit me. Fusion of a Tier 5 immortal root required time. Long Fei found the fastest way to fuse them and used external force. That palm from Pan Sheng just now had allowed him to instantly fuse with the first level, and had also instantly leveled up. Every single immortal root had their own characteristics. Could this blue spirit grass's characteristic be a form of masochism? Pan Sheng was furious. Ah! With a furious roar, the Yuanxian realm energy exploded once again, Pangu opening the sky. Buzz! An extremely powerful force exploded from his body. Thunder rumbled in the sky, as if it was going to split open at any moment. The power was too ferocious. Moreover, this time, Pan Sheng did not choose to continue attacking Long Fei's chest, but the top of his head instead. "I want to see if you will die this time." It came crashing down from the sky with a single palm strike. Fat Man Chen's heart tightened again. "Boss." The martial arts arena began discussing. "This time, Long Fei is dead. He definitely faked it just now. Continue faking it now. Ha ha ha. Let's see if he dies this time. Smash his head." The 8 Great Fairy Hall Elder also revealed a satisfied smile. Pan Sheng's palm would certainly kill Long Fei, and would not be able to resist it at all. 19's eyebrows tightened as he started to worry. Because the Supreme God told him to protect Long Fei and not die. However, at this time, his heart wavered, because the current God Emperor Academy had the highest qualifications. He was the leader of the Dean-S. 19's heart sank as he thought to himself, fighting is possible, and what's more, Pan Sheng's cultivation is higher than mine, I can't stop him at all. Long Fei, go and die. Rumble. A palm struck down. Long Fei felt like his head was about to split. However, at that moment, the system beeped once again. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Blood Immortal level 2. Another upgrade. Blue Spirit Grass Immortal Root had fused with the second layer. Long Fei laughed coldly and said, "Pan Sheng, you weak chicken, can't you be a little more fierce? Your strength is not even enough to tickle Lousy. Hurry up and come hit me." The crowd was stunned. Pan Sheng was so angry that smoke rose from his head, he was completely enraged. 2 consecutive heavy attacks, yet they did not cause the slightest bit of harm to Long Fei. His heart was struck so hard that it was a complete mess, and he even started to doubt his own life. It was clearly something that could be killed in an instant. Why not? Why wasn't he injured? Disregarding all these, what did it mean for Long Fei to continuously break through after 2 heavy strikes? Do we still need to live? Chapter 963, Consecutively Leveled Up 9. Chapter 963, Consecutively Leveled Up 9. Pan Sheng had always wanted to play with Long Fei, but he discovered that he had been played by Long Fei. "Ah!" Pan Sheng roared, "Let's see if you can withstand the power of the Pan Jiu axe." Boom! Picking up the Pan Jiu axe from the ground, Pan Sheng activated the Pan Jiu bloodline in his body, erupting all of the blood veins' power and striking towards the top of Long Fei's head. Bang! With a huge sound, half of Long Fei's body was split open. But, in this instant, his wounds almost healed in an instant. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Blood Immortal 3rd pin. Not enough. His strength is too weak. It's not enough at all. Come again, come and hit me again. Long Fei's palm also released a cold sweat, because when the Pan Jiu axe chopped down, he was slightly unable to endure it. It was just that he couldn't bear it psychologically. A big axe had split his body in half, so he really couldn't bear it anymore. However, fortunately it leveled up instantly, so Long Fei checked his experience bar. He still had a lot of experience, so he immediately laughed. "Pan Sheng, you weakling, can you use a little strength? Didn't you want to use your father as a stepping stone to show how strong you are? Come on, come and hit me." Too cheap. Long Fei had an extremely lowly expression, it was as if everyone wanted to ruthlessly beat him up. "Come hit me." Pan Sheng was also infuriated. Not even the Pan Jiu axe, his scalp was numb, the defense in his heart was crumbling, because he really could not understand, and could not understand what energy Long Fei was cultivating. Too terrifying. His body was almost split in half, yet he didn't die. The people of Martial Arts Arena were the same, their scalps were numb and their eyes glazed over. They sat on their seats, not daring to move. Ghost. He's not a human, he's a ghost. Long Fei is not human. Impossible, this is impossible. Had been completely driven mad by Long Fei. Too terrifying. "Mother. I want to go home, I will never come to God Emperor Academy to watch the show, I want to go home. Many people in the stands turned pale with fright. Ah! A blood-red glow emerged from Pan Sheng's body, just like how Long Fei was in his blood fury. Long Fei's heart tightened, and his lips hooked into a smile as he said excitedly, "The boss has gone berserk, he. Come, release your strongest power. I will kill you." Pan Sheng went berserk with the Pan Jiu bloodline surging inside his body. There was only one thought in his mind, which was to kill Long Fei. Boom! With a step forward, both fists and lightning heavily smashed onto Long Fei's body. Rumble! Long Fei's body sank. His health point had almost bottomed out and he almost went to see the King of Hell. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Blood Immortal 4th pin. The system sounded out once again. Long Fei's level rose again, and he once again revived with full blood. However, Long Fei was extremely unhappy in his heart. His personality was not defensive, it was just an unstoppable attack, and so on and so forth. Pan Sheng had made him very unhappy, extremely displeased. Still not dying? Ah! Pan Sheng punched out again. Ding! The notification sound once again rang out in Long Fei's mind. Ah! Pan Sheng struck again. Another notification rang out in Long Fei's mind. Crazy. Every time Pan Sheng attacked, Long Fei would break through a level, as if he was Long Fei's experience buff. Email protected. Pan Sheng really couldn't take it anymore and attacked continuously. Boom, boom, boom. Long Fei continuously broke through. Ding, ding, ding. Pan Sheng panted heavily. His eyes were bloodshot. Looking at Long Fei, he had an urge to cry. He had never been played like this in his life, and he had the urge to die. He stared at Long Fei and roared, Why? Pan Sheng was about to go crazy. He roared at Long Fei fiercely, then once again struck out with his palms. Bang! Long Fei was flung out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, 9th grade Blood Immortal. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for consecutively leveling up to level 9 and obtaining a special reward from the system. The reward is the Grand Exquisite Lottery. Do you wish to start it? Activate. Long Fei moved his idea and immediately activated it. A big wheel appeared in his mind as well. Following the activation of Long Fei's idea, the wheel started to spin crazily, and Long Fei's heart started to feel a little nervous. When I drew the Super Saiyang mode, what will it be this time? Generally, the special rewards given by the system wouldn't be too bad. Half a second later, the wheel was fixed in one place. The system beep then rang out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Dementia Justice. Do you wish to cultivate it? At this moment, Long Fei was completely dumbstruck. He looked at the smallest grid on the turntable in disbelief. Damn, 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 damn. This, what kind of explosive luck is this? Galen's big move. Dementia Justice. My God, my heart can't take it. Long Fei's heart was beating erratically. He was afraid that the technique would leave him, and immediately said, Cultivate, I have to. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for training Dementia Justice for obtaining 100 experience points, 100 power of celestial points, and 100 special points. Looking at the new skills in the skill bar. Nox's big move is here. Galen's big move is also available, and so is that hero's skill. Long Fei was extremely excited as he muttered to himself, since Nox's card has been activated, then can Galen and that hero's card be activated as well? Nox activated the skin of an expert in the basket. Then, can Galen also activate the skin system? Since we can activate them, can we activate the god? Long Fei's mind started to boil. Heh. Ha ha ha. Long Fei laughed out loud in excitement, as if he had gone mad. He looked completely like a madman. Everyone from the martial arts arena were looking at Long Fei. Is he crazy? What's he laughing at? Has he gone insane from young Master Pan's attack? Everyone whispered amongst themselves. Pan Sheng was also staring deadly at Long Fei and he was still in a berserk state. Long Fei had gone from the 9th stage of the virtual immortals to the 9th stage of the blood immortal realm, instantly jumping a whole realm. His killing intent did not weaken in the slightest. Long Fei! Pan Sheng roared. And then, huff! Long Fei let out a heavy sigh, lifted his eyes slightly, and looked at Pan Sheng, who was not far away. Clenching his fists, the key resounded loudly, and the corner of his mouth curled up into a sinister, death god-like evil smile, as he said, "Pan Sheng, it's my turn now." Chapter 964, Tasting the Great Treasure Sword. Chapter 964, Tasting the Great Treasure Sword. It's my turn. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister, his body moved, and rushed forward. Boom! The power of a 9th stage blood immortal exploded inside Long Fei's body. Boom! Level 7 Peerless, open. With the attribute strength of 128 times unleashed, Long Fei hurried as though he was flying, and suddenly leaped out, Sky Tyrant strike. Rumble. His body shot down like a cannonball. Pan Sheng, who had been played to the point of near collapse, simply did not have time to react. He did not expect Long Fei to retaliate. His body was sent flying. Once the dragon Salia landed, Long Fei activated the blood vein's power that it had absorbed. At the same time, the second realm of killing thought in his mind, Blood Fury, was activated, Dragon Slaying Battle. 1,000 slashes, Dragon Salia danced wildly in the air as the power of bloodlust gushed into it. The strength of each stroke was inexhaustible. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, *, a series of scarlet-red damage figures floated above Pan Sheng's head. 12,931, 23102. It's a counterattack. The boss is counterattacking. Fat Men Chen became excited. Looking at the dancing Long Fei in the air, he became extremely excited. The people from the martial arts arena were also shocked. It's finally time to counterattack. So what if I counterattack? Even if he is at the 9th stage of the blood immortal stage, he is no match for young Master Pan. He is a powerhouse at the Yuanxian realm, so no matter how strong he is, the blood immortal powerhouse is no match for him. You're right. Long Fei will definitely be beaten into a dead dog by young Master Pan. So what if his cultivation had grown stronger? The difference in levels was just as great, they were still no match. 19 saw Pan Sheng's fighting spirit dissipate. He had attacked 9 times consecutively, causing Long Fei to break through 9 times in a row. His heart could not bear with this reality. 19 voices shouted, "Pan Sheng, Long Fei had just absorbed a 5th grade immortal foundation. He does not have a 6th grade immortal foundation, so if you attack now, he will definitely not be able to break through." He had to let Pan Sheng reignite the fighting spirit in his heart. The 8 Fairy Hall Elder also slightly shouted, "Dean 19 is right. He can no longer break through." Boom. Hearing these words, Pan Sheng's heart instantly sank. "Ah!" Pan Sheng roared, and said, "Long Fei, you little ant, go and die." The energy of the Yuanxian realm exploded outwards. The strong aura formed into a power shockwave, directly sending Long Fei flying. Hoo 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 hoo. Pan Sheng's energy aura started to burn crazily, the killing intent in his eyes became stronger as he stared at Long Fei, who was not far away. He had a look of disdain on his face, and laughed, "So what if you are a 9th grade blood immortal? In my eyes, you are still trash. From a new fire." Pan Sheng was a super genius. 19's words woke him up in an instant. It was impossible for Long Fei to make a breakthrough. Since that was the case, he had to crush Long Fei. 19 coldly smiled, "Pan Sheng's fighting spirit has recovered. Long Fei has no chance of winning at all." The 8 Fairy Hall Elder also laughed complacently. The first Devil Slayer is not someone who can be defeated that easily, otherwise he wouldn't have become the first Devil Slayer. Yang Huang Ancestor warned him, and said, "Brat, you have to be careful, you can't break through anymore, the power of the opponent is different now. The fusion of the Pangu immortal root and the Pan-Jiu bloodline have reached an extremely high realm, the power that he released is even stronger than before, it can kill you in an instant." Long Fei did not mind, and instead asked, "Ancestor, are the blood vein you refined for me missing any?" Yang Huang Ancestor was stunned, then said, "It's missing." Heh. Alright then. The Pan Jiyu bloodline is definitely mine. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up slightly. Looking at the amount of blood on top of Pan Sheng's head, he said with a smile, Pan Sheng, do you want to have a taste of great healthcare? It's a great sword. Pan Sheng kept the Pan Jiyu access and changed into the Pan Jiyu sword S. On his body, an incomparably large illusion formed, and like the legendary Pangu's gigantic god of heaven and earth, he stared at Long Fei. The shadow also stared at Long Fei. That feeling. It was like being stared at by a god of death, very uncomfortable. Pangu's shadow. The 9th floor of the Pan Jiyu bloodline? Good boy, he really managed to cultivate it. The 8 Fairy Hall Elder S were incomparably shocked. The Pan Jiyu bloodline was the most ancient type of blood vein in the god's martial continent. It contained the strength of a Pangu giant god and was incomparably powerful. During this half a year of cultivation in the outer space palace, Pan Sheng had continuously increased the strength of the blood vein to the terrifying 9th level. At this moment, inside Palace Question of God, Supreme God's expression also changed slightly. Pangu's shadow? The elders of the Hall of Immortals were the same as the 8 elders, all of their faces were full of shock. As expected of the number 1 Devil Slayer, someone with such talent that no one can compare to. Long Fei is definitely dead. Long Fei doesn't have any blood veins power in his body, so he can't resist at all. Furthermore, when facing the Pangu's shadow, he would instantly be crushed. Supreme God's gaze tensed up. Long Fei was too arrogant, he indeed wanted to teach him a lesson. However, he did not wish for Long Fei to die, and his master would not agree either. Immediately, his idea sank as he sent a sound transmission to Principal 19, saying, block Pan Sheng for me. Long Fei can't die yet. 19 acted like he didn't hear anything. Supreme God frowned and shouted, 19, do you dare to disobey my orders? 19's body trembled slightly, and he said, Supreme God, you are very clear about my cultivation. I am not even Pan Sheng's match, how can I stop him? At this critical moment, Pan Sheng took a step forward, rumble. It was as if the sky was falling and the earth was splitting apart. Rumble. The arena was reduced to ruins. The entire God Emperor Academy and the God Emperor Mountain were trembling without end. There was no light in the world and it was dark, as if an ancient giant had walked out of the darkness. The power of the Pangu's shadow was too strong. Invincible strength. Damn. Is the Pan Jiyu bloodline really that amazing? There was no fear in Long Fei's heart at all, he was only excitement. Incomparable excitement. Explode him. And then, Long Fei also took a step forward, his expression incomparably excited, looking at the great sword's release distance, he approached it meter by meter, when suddenly, Long Fei stopped. It was also at this time. Pan Sheng also stopped. His Pangu's shadow moved, holding onto his Pan Jiyu axe and shot into the clouds, slashing towards Long Fei's head, go to hell. The corner of Long Fei's mouth drew back, he did not avoid the attack at all. Instead, he roared out in his heart, Demacia justice. Big sword. Let's F*** King see who dies first. Chapter 965 Hand of Noxus, Descend. Chapter 965 Hand of Noxus, Descend. Pangu creating the heavens. The huge axe chopped down. In the sky, the light of justice scattered down. An incomparably large sword shining with golden light began to move amidst the light of justice. Pangu's world. The sky split open. In the crevice, a large sword fell. This scene was too bizarre. Long Fei stood in place without moving an inch, completely fearless. Come. Rumble. Thunder rumbled, 1,000,000 kilometer was filled with the sound of energy colliding. The people of God Emperor Academy looked up at the sky. Everyone in God Emperor City was also looking up at the sky. A huge axe. It was a great sword. It was like 10,000 years in a second. Rumble. A super explosion sounded out. Following that, the sky and earth recovered, the darkness disappeared and the sky above God Emperor Academy turned peaceful. Quiet. What had happened? Everyone was asking in their hearts, what happened just now? Long Fei's body lightly swayed, and blood leaked out from the corner of his mouth. His health points were frantically flowing away. Pan Sheng stood in place without moving, the aura around his body completely disappearing. The gigantic axe slashed down. The great sword was one step faster than the gigantic axe. It completely destroyed Pan Sheng's mind, consciousness, and primordial spirit, killing him in an instant. At that moment, a number floated above Pan Sheng's head. 100 million, an attack that dealt 100 million damage. It was all a mess. Long Fei also shouted in his heart, Demacia, 2 fears. Crack. Crack. Pan Sheng's body started to crack bit by bit, and like a layer of ice melting, he fell, smashing to the ground. His 2 eyes were fixated on Long Fei, and the moment the great sword slashed down, his expression froze in place, and he didn't move an inch. Hualala. As his body ruptured, the system sounded out a prompt. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for violently killing Pan Sheng for obtaining 1 million experience points, 90,000 power of celestial and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Pan Gu axe. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Pan Gu sword. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Pan Gu bloodline. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Pangu immortal root. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Zhuge sword fragment. The system continuously exploded. Long Fei was extremely excited as he looked at the items dropped by the space ring. At the same time, he also felt suspicious. It's true that Pan Sheng is a boss, but I don't have the striking energy value. Could it be? Long Fei muttered in his heart. Could it be because of the great sword? Damn. Then isn't this great sword too cool? At this time, Long Fei replied, Ancestor. Not waiting for him to finish. Ding. The Pan Gu bloodline was swallowed by the dragon Salia. Ding. The Pan Gu sword has been dissolved and swallowed. Long Fei. Ancestor, damn you. Can't you just let me have a look? Long Fei felt that he could bear 10 billion damage and the Pan Gu bloodline was devoured. It was too sad that the Pan Gu sword was eaten like this. Yang Huang Ancestor laughed. I was almost scared to death by you just now. I have to eat holy artifact to quell my shock. To suppress your sister. Long Fei disdained. It was also at this time. Long Fei's body sank. Phut. A mouthful of blood sprayed out. With the dragon Salia propping himself up from the ground, Long Fei barely managed to avoid falling to the ground as his face instantly became incomparably pale. Just now, when his body was still in a state of excitement, he did not realize that his body had suffered heavy injuries. The power of that Pangu's mirage attack was simply too great. Even if Long Fei were to kill Pan Sheng, he would be able to destroy this move. However, many of the Pangu's Shadow's powers had caused damage to Long Fei, and even the Golden Dragon Master couldn't block it. If not for the Golden Dragon Master blocking it, Long Fei would have died too. Boss. Fat Men Chen was the first to rush out. Boom. Bang. With a loud noise, Fat Men Chen was blasted away before he could even close in on Long Fei. Buzz. Buzz. 8 Fairy Hall Elder S landed at the same time, their eyes were filled with killing intent. An elder said coldly, the competition is not over yet, outsiders are not allowed to get close. Long Fei, we can ignore you killing the 18 principals. But, you killed the Devil Slayer, the future hope of our immortal domain, so you must pay the price today. They could not believe what was happening in front of them, but the truth was right in front of them. The first Devil Slayer's Pan Sheng died. This was a fatal blow to the immortal domain. They couldn't do nothing. Long Fei helped the dragon Salia stand up with difficulty, and said with a cold smile, if he was killed, then I am the Devil Slayer. Why? Are you all unhappy? You want to take advantage of your father's injury? Humph. So what if you're heavily injured? Long Fei, you have committed such a heinous crime. Today, I will definitely exterminate you. It was obvious that he wanted to take advantage of the fact that you were heavily injured. The strength that Long Fei had exploded out was too strange and too terrifying, and in their hearts, They didn't have absolute confidence that they could kill Long Fei while he was completely recovered. While you're sick, I'll take your life. They knew this very well. Boom. Fat Men Chen rushed forward again. Move my boss, I'll F***k your whole family. Without waiting for him to rush up the stage, one of the Fairy Hall Elder S flipped his right hand, and a wave of energy swept out, once again sending the Fat Men Chen flying. Ants scram to the side. At this time, Song Qianqian thrusted out his sword. Man Tuoluo released the power of her poisoned spirit immortal root. Aoya activated her insight into sword method. The exquisite wings moved, the rosefinch blood vessel's power burst forth. Dao Feng, Wang Qingshan, Zheng Qingsong, and the brothers of the logistics department all rushed forward. They fought with all their might. However, a look of disdain appeared in one of the Fairy Hall Elder's eyes as he sneered, "A group of disorderly mob, all of you scram to the side." Boom. With a huge explosion, the powerful force sent Song Qianqian and the others flying. Fut! Fut! Linglong spat out a mouthful of blood, and Xiao Ying also spat out a mouthful of blood. Giggle. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly, and said word by word, "Those who touch my brother, die." Humph. The leader of the Fairy Hall Elder sneered, "With your current appearance, I can squash your feces with a single finger and fight with us. Long Fei, you are not qualified, understand?" The 8 Fairy Hall Elder revealed cold smiles of contempt. Long Fei was already crippled. Right now, they could easily kill him with a single move. You don't have the qualifications, right? You palace question of God people are awesome, right? Then Laozi will show you what qualifications are like, what is called being awesome. Long Fei roared, the idea moved and activated the card, Hand of Noxus. Descend. Chapter 966, Crushing, Not a Single Person. Chapter 966, Crushing, Not a Single Person Descend. Hand of Noxus. Long Fei roared, the idea activated the card in the system. Card burning. A basketball dropped from the sky, a red basketball suit, and a huge man in the shape of a sword. His eyes were filled with fury, and his body was emitting a terrifying aura, giving off a feeling as if his mind was about to be crushed. Terrifying. Bang. After he finished, Nox knelt down on one knee towards Long Fei and said respectfully, "Greetings, Master." Long Fei was extremely excited. It's exactly the same as in the game. That berserk aura, that unstoppable power, and that kind of man whose entire body is filled with a tyrannical aura, he's too cool. It was also at this time that Long Fei pointed at the 8 elders of Hall of Immortals and ordered, "Crush them all into pieces, don't leave a single one alive." Long Fei was extremely weak right now. With his current body, even if he were to release the Xianbao Spirit Stones S and get 1,000,000 points of power of Celestial, he would still be unable to use the turn Yang Long into God. His flesh could not handle it, and if he were to use the dragon transformation skill, his flesh would explode. Hand of Noxus's card was his only trump card. Could Nox, who was at the Holy-ranked realm, be a match for the 8 Fairy Hall Elder S? To be honest, Long Fei wondered in his heart. Being strong in a game was still a game. If he was summoned to a different world, what kind of power would he have? Long Fei was really unsure in his heart. Nox stood up. The basketball in his hands struck onto the ground and bounced up, releasing waves of terrifying buzzing sounds. With eyes filled with anger, he said arrogantly, "Scram, weakling." This was the first sentence he came out with. The wind had risen to the extreme. The 8 Hall of Immortals S were stunned by the sudden appearance of Hand of Noxus. This person wore a strange robe and held a basketball that they had never seen before in his hands. He was tall and sturdy, and his body emitted a strength that they had never felt before. The entire martial arts arena was the same as them. Looking at Nox, she asked in her heart, "Who is this guy? What's the situation? What is he trying to do by bouncing the ball around in his hand? Look at the clothes he's wearing, then look at his body. Why do I feel like he's like a ferocious beast? So what if it's a fierce beast? Even divine beast would be crushed by the 8 Fairy Hall Elder S, let alone fierce beasts. Palace question of God, the sovereign king of immortal domain. The strongest of them all. Every single Fairy Hall Elder was a super powerhouse, a realm that no one could defeat. If 8 Fairy Hall Elders joined hands, in the entire immortal domain, who would be his match? Just based on this big guy in strange clothes. It was not enough. It was only because his strange appearance caused them to be slightly shocked. The 8 Fairy Hall Elders did not even look at Nox. One of them stepped forward, pretending to be mysterious. Long Fei, you should prepare to die, today no one can save you. At this moment, Hand of Noxus suddenly moved, the basket in his hands fiercely pulled, and shouted out with incomparable savagery, "How can the master's name be called by a weak person like you?" Shua. With a turn of the basket in his hands, a drop of black blood droplet appeared on the body of the Fairy Hall Elder. Long Fei saw that the blood groove on the Fairy Hall Elder's head was continuously emitting bright red damage. The Fairy Hall Elder was enraged and shouted, "Mutant, are you seeking death?" "Pa, Pa!" Nox attacked continuously. The Fairy Hall Elder immediately took action, but Nox did not defend at all. "My idea is, never retreat." Buzz. 5 drops of black blood floated above Fairy Hall Elder's body. Boom. A ball of red light emerged from Hand of Noxus's body. The basket froze. Hand of Noxus grabbed onto the basketball with both hands and jumped up heavily, boom, rising up from the ground. He jumped into the air and headed straight for the top of Fairy Hall Elder's head. Rumble. That scene. This momentum was simply incomparable. The top of Fairy Hall Elder's head immediately exploded, with half of his body smashed into the ground. When the blood on his head drained, in a short moment, he was killed. At this moment, Long Fei was shocked. "What the F **K? This is too fierce, isn't it? Do you mean to say that the Fairy Hall Elder was taken away in one set?" Long Fei's scalp went numb, his mind was shaken. He had also cultivated the Nox Sars guillotine, but no matter if it was in terms of aura, damage, or linking moves, Nox's skillful movements were completely inferior to his. Truly domineering. That kind of domineering aura that Long Fei was unable to describe. At the same time, Long Fei was also extremely excited. "Saint Rank hero, this is. The strong will explode, ha ha ha." Fairy Hall Elder was killed instantly. A golden immortal stage level 8 Fairy Hall Elder, his strength and cultivation was even stronger than an ordinary golden immortal stage level 9. However, he was taken away by Nox's technique. It was too terrifying. The faces of the remaining 7 Fairy Hall Elders paled. His mind began to tremble. The guy in red clothes in front of him was a monster. Now, no one looked down on Hand of Noxus, no one dared to do that. How did he kill the Fairy Hall Elder? Madam is too strong, she was almost killed in an instant. Just what kind of background does this guy wearing red vests have? Isn't it too terrifying? This is incredible. Everyone in the audience was incomparably shocked. Looking at Nox on the destroyed arena, their brains were cut short at this moment. They couldn't understand it at all. A Fairy Hall Elder was killed, but Nox did not stop there. His orders were to crush them. After killing one, there were still 7 people left. "Weak ones, I'll personally send you off." Boom. Hand of Noxus rushed into the crowd, the basket turning into an axe, his body spinning fiercely. The 7 Fairy Hall Elders all had black blood on them as they attacked in succession. Crippled. "You want to escape? Get the hell back here, Steel Hand." Buzz. After unleashing a set of skills, Hand of Noxus instantly entered into the blood sacrifice realm. His hands moved, grabbing a basketball, and then fiercely smashed it onto a Fairy Hall Elder. Rumble. It was like a thunderclap that resounded through the skies. The Elder was crushed instantly, all the bones in his body had been broken. The power of Nox's guillotine was extremely terrifying. At the same time, the system beeped. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Fairy Hall Elder for obtaining 1920,000 experience, 20,000 power of celestial and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 100 immortal crystals. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the special item gold coin by 300 gold coins. The system sounded out continuously. I didn't pay attention to anything else, But the last one. 300 gold coins for special items. Chapter 967, Creating 6 Endless Knocks. Chapter 967, Creating 6 Endless Knocks. What's going on? Gold coins. Gold coins. Is this the money used to buy Nox's equipment? Long Fei was immediately overjoyed. 300 yuan for a head. Ha ha ha. I am going to be rich, I am going to be rich, I am going to break through and turn Nox into my 6 god equipment. 6 pieces of divine equipment. Infinity sword, infinity sword, infinity sword, infinity sword, infinity sword, infinity sword. What kind of scene was this? I can't do it, I can't do it. My liver hurts so much. I'm so excited that I can't take it anymore. Long Fei held onto his heart, feeling a little overwhelmed. He was too excited. To be able to activate the card system made Long Fei feel that the system was awesome. However, he did not expect the striking system to be this powerful. Not only did the hero card appear, it even brought the game's shop system here. Wasn't this asking him to go to the heavens? He definitely had to go up to the sky. In his previous life, he was only a scum of bronze 6. In this life, I can't play games. Then, your father will F*King smash it with equipment. I am crazy, brainless, and fierce. He had to have 6 infinity sword on him. That was a critical strike, that was injury, and that was brainless killing you. Long Fei started to laugh maniacally in his heart. Other than that, at the same time as Nox killed people, he also gained experience. His personal stats also had an EXP bar, which meant that he had to rely on killing to level up. Right now, he was at the Saint rank. If he could level up, what level would he reach? Long Fei didn't know, but he was sure that there was something that Nox Zack would definitely become stronger. Immediately. Hand of Noxus is indeed strong, but is not the strongest. If he can talk about the activation of more than 130 heroes. Ayo, ayo, ayo. Yang Huang ancestor was stupefied for a moment, and then asked with concern, Brat, what's wrong? Where's the discomfort? Don't worry about me, don't worry about me. Long Fei replied. Yang Huang ancestor asked, what happened to you? Long Fei said, my liver hurts. It's so painful, so comfortable, ha ha ha. Yang Huang ancestor glanced at Long Fei in disdain. Although he was inside Long Fei's body, he did not know about the existence of the system, nor did he know about Hand of Noxus's card and the various powerful moves that Long Fei had released. However, as for anything else, he was too lazy to think about it. Sure. Weak ones, go die. Boom. Hand of Noxus jumped up and fiercely threw the basket down. Instant kill. The system also chimed in. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Fairy Hall Elder for obtaining 1950,000 experience points, 20,000 power of celestial and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 110 immortal crystals. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the special item gold coin by 300 gold coins. Ha ha ha. Yet another head. Nox Han, keep blowing them up. For Nox SARS. No, now it's for the infinity sword, explode for me. Long Fei roared. As he roared. Boom. Once again, the basket came crashing down. Ding. Boom. Hand of Noxus suffered another heavy blow. The scene was extremely shocking, as he completely crushed everyone present. This is too crazy. Why did I suddenly realize that the Fairy Hall Elder is a little weak? The Fat Man Chen muttered as he looked at Nox on the stage with a face full of worship. Fairy Hall Elder is as weak as a chicken or dog in front of him. Too fierce. It's not that the Fairy Hall Elder wasn't strong. It was because Hand of Noxus was too strong, and was simply a scoundrel who reaped resources with his own hands. His big move, guillotine, was the same as Long Fei's. As long as he used it to kill someone, his big move would instantly cool down. He triggered a powerful skill and crushed it with a single slash. In an instant, the attack was overturned. So fierce. Just like that. Make a move on my brother. Hurt my woman. So what if you're an elder of the palace question of God? Long Fei supported the dragon Salia and roared, "Kill me, come up now if you have the guts, come up for me." Boom. Nox's big move cut down again. Boom. Another series of slashes. The system beep continued to ring. Gold coins were constantly accumulating. Of the 8 Fairy Hall Elders that remained, only 2 remained. One of them was Aoya's archenemy who killed her father. After that, Long Fei shouted, "Nox, it's good that this guy is disabled." "As you command, my lord." Would definitely not kill someone that was heavily disabled. The Fairy Hall Elder was completely stupid, they wouldn't even be able to run now. Resistance. When their attacks fell, Nox's great killing 4 directions immediately recovered all of his HP, and was completely unable to injure him. Escape. The heartless iron hand directly lured you back, and at this moment, before you could even react, a burning basketball was pulled down on your head. "Sorry, you're already dead." Aoya. Long Fei looked at Aoya who was standing below the stage. She kept staring at the Fairy Hall Elder, her eyes filled with endless anger as gold coins were important, but so was his experience. However, give a head to Aoya. If he could capture the Sword Force King Kong, it would be worth it. Furthermore, the rules of the system stated that as long as he caused harm, the experience points would be his, so there was no need to worry about all this. Furthermore, Long Fei had promised Aoya that he would definitely make her kill him. The revenge blade was prepared just for her. Crippled. Crack. The Fairy Hall Elder's hands and feet were broken, and he was trembling on the ground. At this time, Nox no longer cared about him, but charged towards another Fairy Hall Elder who was trying to escape. He pointed his long sword towards the Fairy Hall Elder, the killing intent in his eyes not diminishing in the slightest, and said angrily, "For my father, my mother, go to hell for me. Don't kill me, don't kill me, don't." Not waiting for him to finish. Without the slightest hesitation, Aoya's sword pierced through his head. "Father, mother, daughter has avenged you, you can rest in peace." 2 streams of tears flowed down from the corners of Aoya's eyes. After that, he walked to Long Fei's side and bowed 90 degrees, saying, "Long Fei, thank you." This thank you was very heavy, very heavy. Without Long Fei's help, she would never be able to take revenge, not even in her life. The difference between her and Fairy Hall Elder was simply too great. No matter how hard she tried, she was not her opponent. Now that she had achieved her revenge and completed the most important thing in her life, she had to thank Long Fei. Long Fei smirked and said, "Since you are thanking me, then I should express my thanks and repay you with my body." Oya nodded without any hesitation, "Okay." Long Fei was startled for a moment, and said, "I was just joking." Aoya's eyes were wide open as she looked at Long Fei with blazing eyes, and said, "I am serious." At this time, the system sounded out. Ding. Chapter 968, I accept. Chapter 968, I accept. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the Big Swordsman Oya quest. You have received 1 million experience points, and 10,000 power of Celestial. The hero skill Sharp Blade Waltz is free. Return of the Sword Force King Kong. Long Fei was overjoyed. Just when he was about to give the skill to Aoya, the system notification sound rang again. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for making Aoya willingly commit to him. You have obtained the first 100 points of affability level woman, as well as a special reward from the system. Holy **T. You can do that. Long Fei was a little fierce, he did not expect that the 100 points of affability level would have contained a special reward. If he had known earlier, he would have given it his best, but... A lewd smile surfaced on Long Fei's face. 100 points in affability level, wouldn't that unlock every posture? Wow. The female principal version of Grand Duelist, professional OL, on the bed with a fart stick in hand. Gudong. Just thinking about it, Long Fei almost couldn't hold it anymore and puffed out. The power of prehistoric war was about to break out. If he did not think about it now, he would explode. He saw the gift box in his mind light up. The idea moved, open. The gift box was opened and a system notification rang out. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Origin Plan Fire set. Damn. Giving out skills and a set. Long Fei's heart trembled. Origin Plan Fire was a set of Grand Duelist S, and it was extremely beautiful. What Long Fei created was only a copy, and it did not have that kind of powerful aura. Seems like. Long Fei thought to himself, the higher the affability level is, the better the rewards will be. This kind of origin plan can at least increase Aoya's strength by a whole realm. If I had this set, I'm afraid that Fairy Hall Elder would not even be her match. Suddenly, Long Fei thought of something, Li Yuanbar's giant spirit body, the power of the Holy Spirit of the Heavenly Spirit, then Aoya. Could her power be the origin plan set? At this time, Long Fei looked at Aoya and said, since you promised your body to me, then these are the things that I need to show you. He took out the cultivation techniques Sharp Blade Waltz and Origin Plan and said, when you train in the cultivation method, you will understand the true meaning of the Sharp Blade Waltz. The divine equipment that you wear will definitely be powerful. Aoya looked at the two things with trembling eyes. She was deeply moved. No one had ever been so nice to her. She took a step forward and began to wail on Long Fei's shoulder. Long Fei lightly patted Aoya's back, and said, don't cry, it won't look good if you continue to cry. Moreover, Aoya's figure, chest, and all sorts of images that were unsuitable for children were woven together in Long Fei's mind. Long Fei's lower body instantly had a reaction. This was happening in front of hundreds of thousands of God Emperor Academy disciples. He had to hold it in no matter what. The originally ice-cold goddess Aoya had now been completely melted by Long Fei. Oya nodded slightly and said, yes. In an instant, she became a obedient little girl. The hearts of countless male disciples shattered once again. At this moment, boom. The last Fairy Hall Elder died by hand of Noxus's hand, his body turning into a pool of blood. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Fairy Hall Elder for obtaining 190,000 experience, 20,000 power of celestial and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 113 immortal crystals. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the special item gold coin by 300 gold coins. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. The current player is level 1. Nox also leveled up. Long Fei became excited. He took a look at Nox's size stats, his strength had become stronger, and the cooldown had decreased by a bit. Although it was not a lot, the higher the level, the fewer cooldowns he would have. Master, the mission is complete. I need to rest. Hand of Noxus said, then disappeared on the spot. Long Fei immediately said, wait first. Long Fei raised his eyes slightly, staring at the 19 people who no longer dared to look into Long Fei's eyes. His voice sank as he fiercely roared out, damn it, who else is there? 19th Dean? You also said you wanted to kill me, right? Come down here and kill me. 19th Dean's face turned pale and his body trembled. His lips trembled as he said, Long Fei, I didn't say anything like that. Just now, I was confused for a moment. I was wrong. He was afraid. He was really scared. He was afraid that he too would think of the 8 Fairy Hall Elder S being directly killed by that basketball. Moreover, he finally understood that Long Fei was completely a monster. His strength, his technique and the person she summoned were all monsters. 18 Matrial Hall's principal had been killed by him, hundreds of elite disciples had been killed, first Devil Slayer had been killed, and now 8 Fairy Hall Elder had been wiped out by him. Who else could stop his steps? Such a person was too terrifying. The corner of Long Fei's mouth lifted slightly, and said, from today onwards, I don't want to see you in God Emperor Academy, understand? 19 as if he had received an amnesty, he said, I understand, I will definitely not appear in God Emperor Academy again. Finished. 19 turned around and ran out. He hated the fact that this old lady had given birth to a few legs and was in an extremely sorry state. Long Fei looked less and roared loudly, who else can't accept this? Who still refuses to accept this? The sound of it shook the sky and crushed the entire martial arts practice grounds. All the experts had been killed by him, so who wouldn't accept it now? At this moment, the sky suddenly sank. Poochie. Long Fei's wound ruptured, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His body suddenly bent, almost falling to his knees. He looked up, his fists clenched tightly. Supreme God. The clouds in the sky parted. The palace question of God was floating in the air and could be seen clearly. Supreme God's face was filled with anger, his two eyes staring straight at Long Fei. Behind him stood over 100 Fairy Hall Elders, and every single one of them was on top of the golden immortal rank. They were the most powerful existences within the immortal domain. Moreover, those people didn't even include those 400-year-old monsters, the Grand Ancestor. Golden light. Golden light filled the sky. It was incomparably dazzling. Long Fei clenched his teeth so hard that his whole body was cracking. Golden Dragon Master was also desperately resisting. His body was almost unable to take it anymore. Supreme God's cold voice rang out, "I refuse to accept this." Chapter 969, Supreme God's Fury. Chapter 969, Supreme God's Fury. His voice was like thunder as it pressed down heavily. Poochie. Long Fei's body sank even deeper, his knees almost kneeled on the ground, his body bent like a bow, with each layer of power becoming stronger and stronger, crushing onto Long Fei's heart. It was extremely huge and painful. Ah! Long Fei roared, resisting with all his might. The power of the Supreme God was simply too great. Nox glared with both eyes. He also had a violent temper. Seeing Long Fei being crushed, he was about to rush forward. Stop! Long Fei moved and forcefully took Nox back into the system. Nox also had time to fight. He also had health point. He was very strong, but he was definitely not a match for the Supreme God. If he was killed, with the card shattered, he would never be able to summon it. This was a huge loss. Nox was a growth-type hero. As long as he was given time, enough gold coins, Long Fei would be able to create a wave of berserk attack on Nox. Now, Long Fei couldn't let anything happen to him. Supreme God floated in the air and stared coldly at Long Fei, and said, "You made God Emperor Academy into this state, Long Fei. There is a limit to my patience. Don't take yourself too seriously. In my eyes, you are just a small ant." 18 principals were killed, Pan Sheng was killed, and 8 Fairy Hall Elders were killed. The Supreme God's heart was filled with anger. Long Fei's body trembled, his hands were tightly holding onto the dragon Salia. No matter how powerful the pressure was, he did not kneel down. People of Long family would not kneel to the heavens, nor would they kneel to anyone. Long Fei looked at the lofty Supreme God in the sky and shouted, "Small ants. Ha ha ha. Since I'm just an ant, then kill me now. Supreme God, if you have the guts, kill me now. Come on. Come here for lousy. Arrogant beyond compare. So what if you're a Supreme God? So what if they were from the palace question of God?" Long Fei just disdained them. It was to not compromise. "How dare you?" A Fairy Hall Elder suddenly roared, his anger rising. "Supreme God, this brat is too arrogant. If we don't kill him today, how would palace question of God deter the world? How dare he be so arrogant? Let's see who he's up to. Arrogant in front of us. Kid, you're too arrogant." Virtually all of the elders refused to accept this outcome. Long Fei is too arrogant. Since he was so arrogant in front of them, if they still did not suppress him, palace question of God's face would have been stepped on by Long Fei. The people from the martial arts arena were also stunned. Long Fei is definitely crazy. That is the Supreme God, the Sovereign King of Immortal Domain. He actually just spoke to him like that. He definitely doesn't want to live anymore. Too arrogant. So arrogant. In the entire Immortal Domain, and even in the entire God's martial continent, who would dare to speak to Supreme God like that? This was definitely a rhythm that was sick of living. At this moment, the Fat Man Chen was a bit closer to Long Fei, and he was carefully guarding against the latter. If the Supreme God were to make a move, he would need to use all of his strength to resist it. He had promised Qiu Wandao that he would definitely protect Long Fei's safety, and definitely not let anything happen to him. Supreme God's gaze turned cold. In that short few seconds, he had thought about many things. Could it be that Long Fei knows my plan? It's good if he knows, it's good if he doesn't. He's too arrogant. If I don't teach him a lesson today, he wouldn't even know how high the sky is or how deep the earth is. Also, what kind of lofty existence was the palace question of God? He did not allow anyone to sully palace question of God. Zhong Xian's heart sank. Supreme God's power aura suddenly moved. Boom. Space split apart. Everyone says that your Long family's people will not kneel to the heavens, and will not kneel to the earth. Today, let's see how hard your knees are, let's see how long you, Long Fei, can remain crazy for. Rumble. The power came crashing down. Fat Man Chen's face darkened. Without the slightest hesitation, he activated all of the Holy Armor Fairy Vein's defensive power, took a step forward, blocked, and shouted loudly, "Boss, run." At this moment, without waiting for Fat Man Chen to block the incoming force, Long Fei grabbed him and threw him back. Whoosh! Chen Tianfei simply did not defend at all, and when Long Fei used his full strength, he was instantly thrown flying. Long Fei was very clear about this in his heart. Even if the fatty could resist it, Long Fei would not use his brother's life to take the risk. The brother was used to cherish him, and not used to be a bullet for him. Long Fei would rather die than see his brother die. Moreover, Long Fei also understood in his heart that no matter how strong the power of the Supreme God was, it was impossible to kill him, because he still needed his help. He was the prophet's son. Supreme God would never kill him. Boss! Long Fei! Everyone shouted. Long Fei raised his head and looked at the falling power. Clenching his teeth, he looked at Supreme God, who had a complacent look on his face. Long Fei was still incomparably arrogant as he said, "You want me, Long Fei, to kneel? Not even your 8 generations of ancestors were able to do it." Ah! A roar of power. Long Fei's 2 forces heavily smashed into the ground and his feet fiercely stabbed into the ground, directly burying his legs within the ground. "You want this daddy to kneel? Ha ha ha. Even if the King of Heaven comes, it will be useless. A mere Supreme God. Ha ha ha. Come on." Long Fei was crazy. In order to not make himself kneel, he directly stabbed his body into the ground. This way, no matter how much pressure he endured, his knees would always be straight and would not bend even a little. Everyone was dumbfounded. At this moment, the power shot down. Boom. Blast down from above Long Fei's head. Boom, boom, boom. All of the bones in his body began to crack, and his tendons and veins were fractured. Intense pain spread throughout his entire body, and at this moment, his knees had cracked open, and his face was as pale as paper. He continuously spat out fresh blood. This power, the power of the Supreme God, was beyond compare. His bun was scattered everywhere, and Long Fei's eyes were completely bloodshot. Raising his head to look at the Supreme God in the sky, he roared out, come again, your Supreme God is only SOSO, ha ha ha." The entire hall was silent. He was shocked by the craziness on Long Fei's body. Song Qianqian's tears rolled down his face. Man Tuoluo, Xiao Ying, Ling Long, Aoya, in the instant that the power was released, they rushed forward recklessly. Long Fei, Young Master Long. Their hearts felt as if they had died, and the pain was so intense that they couldn't even breathe. Your courting death Supreme God was also angry. No one had ever dared to be so arrogant in front of him, never had anyone dared to speak to him like that. The anger in his heart exploded, his eyes turned sinister, and he shouted, "Get down." Chapter 970 Defeat, Complete Annihilation. Chapter 970 Defeat, Complete Annihilation. Initially, Supreme God only wanted Long Fei to give in. He suppressed them a little, taught him a lesson, and let him know that his own strength was still weak. He still needed to become stronger a little. He was enraged by Long Fei's arrogance. He was truly angry. "You like craziness, right? Let's see how long you can stay crazy for." As soon as he finished speaking, Supreme God turned his right hand, and a stream of energy that was bound by the seal came crashing down. A loud sound echoed out. Song Qianqian and the other women who had rushed up were instantly blocked and sent flying by the powerful force. However, that power was like a cage that trapped Long Fei in place. Buzz, buzz, buzz. A buzzing sound could be heard from all directions. Rays of light beams emerged from the ground. The power of these light beams formed a network, blocking Long Fei and the outside world. Boss! Chen Tianfei rushed forward without caring about his life, his fists striking the light beam boundary. Crack! Bang! Fat Man Chen's body shook and flew away like a remnant thread. His enormous body flew a few thousand meters away before disappearing from the martial arts arena's sight. The power of the light beam was incomparably powerful. Seeing Song Qianqian and the others rush over, Long Fei shouted loudly, "Don't come over here. Don't come near them." Fat Man Chen had extremely strong divine armor defense, and if he was bounced back, those girls would definitely die from the backlash. If that happened, Long Fei would regret it for the rest of his life. Supreme God ordered, "Go crazy again." He was extremely angry. A few of the Fairy Hall Elders were shocked. Sunshine Array. The strongest formation in Immortal Domain. No one can escape. Supreme God is really angry. This was a formation. With the formation of the boundary of light, no one could escape. So far, no one had been able to solve it. Within the formation, Long Fei's power was continuously being suppressed, and his internal organs were churning. His mind, his sea of consciousness, had been completely crushed by the boundary's formation, unable to release even the slightest bit of power. This was the impressiveness of the Sunshine Array. Long Fei, keep being arrogant. Go crazy again. I won't kill you, but that doesn't mean I don't dare to kill you, do you understand? The Supreme God said with a cold tone. As soon as he finished speaking, his fingers moved. Boom, boom, boom. The soil on the ground seemed to have been filtered out, as it continuously sunk down. The soil that was engulfed in Long Fei's lap disappeared, and it was as if his body had been pulled out from the ground. Catcher, catcher. Ah! Long Fei roared miserably, his entire body collapsing onto the ground. The Sunshine Array floated above the ground and floated in the air. Long Fei was imprisoned inside. Supreme God laughed coldly, looked at Long Fei and asked, "Do you know what you look like now? A dead dog." Ha ha ha. The elders of the Palace Question of God also laughed out loud. Against our Palace Question of God? Kid, you think you're qualified? Ha ha ha. All along, he had always treated Long Fei as a chess piece, just like how Long Zhanting used to be back then, and was controlled by him like a puppet. If it wasn't for the Dragon Domain's secret, even if Long Fei had 10,000 lives, he would still be dead. Right now, Long Fei only had half a life remaining. All the bones in his body shattered. His strength was suppressed. Even the current Long Fei was unable to release the power of the 14th dragon ancestor. As the head of the fused Yuan Long S, all the strength in his body was being crushed and unable to be released. Even the power of the Yang Huang ancestor was being suppressed. The Yang Huang ancestor kept on shouting, but his voice was completely unable to reach Long Fei's ears. However, Long Fei was not afraid at all, because he knew that the Supreme God would not dare to kill him. He needed to rely on himself to find the Dragon Domain. The corner of Long Fei's mouth drew back, and he was still as arrogant as before. "Supreme God, if you have the guts, kill me now. If you don't kill me today, I will destroy your ancestors in the future. What can you do?" Supreme God's eyes were filled with anger as he laughed coldly. "You're still crazy, right? Then let's see how long you can be arrogant for." Buzz! Supreme God opened his mouth again and released the power of the heavenly flame divine light. His palm struck Man Tuoluo's body, and bang! The sound of bubbles opening. Man Tuoluo disappeared. She disappeared all of a sudden. Long Fei's eyes began to tremble. Man Tuoluo, Man Tuoluo. You all, quickly run, quickly run. They were Long Fei's weakness. Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, Supreme God sneered again. "Aren't you arrogant? You're being crazy again." Another wave of power descended, and a palm landed on Linglong's body. Pater. With another bubbling sound, Linglong disappeared from the spot. No, don't do that. You guys, run. Run. Long Fei struck the sunshine array heavily. Every time he collided with it, he was sent flying once, and every time he attacked, he would be sent flying. Unless. Long Fei roared, Supreme God, come at me if you dare, come at me. Pater. Xiao Ying's body disappeared. Dao Feng and the others all had trembling expressions, because they did not know how to defend themselves or how to defend themselves. Seeing their brothers who had disappeared one by one, they also went crazy and screamed crazily. Ah! No. Han Shueji disappeared. Pater. Dao Feng disappeared. Pater Wang Qingshan disappeared. Zheng Qingsong disappeared. Oya disappeared. The dozen or so service disciples of logistics department disappeared. One by one. In the end, there was only Song Qianqian left. Supreme God's gaze turned cold as he said coldly, you disappear as well. No. Long Fei looked at the last Song Qianqian, his voice already hoarse. Song Qianqian looked at Long Fei's teary face and said with a trembling voice, Long Fei. Not waiting for her to finish. A surge of power stuck to her body, causing her to disappear in an instant. All the people around Long Fei had disappeared. The entire martial arts arena was dumbfounded. Shi Hao was dumbstruck. He had never experienced this kind of feeling before. He had never seen this kind of power before. He was completely stupefied. Long Fei looked at the high and mighty Supreme God and roared, Supreme God, if I had not died today, I would have definitely returned it to you 1,000 times, tens of thousands of times. Supreme God laughed coldly, Long Fei, you dare be crazy in front of me? Mph, you don't count for anything, do you know? Weak. You have no right to live. Do you want revenge? Ha ha ha. You don't even have the qualifications to take revenge. Let me tell you something else. I was the one who killed your father, and your mother as well. Ha ha ha. Supreme God laughed out wildly. With a flip of his right hand, the immense power of the heavenly flame divine light suddenly swept outwards. The formation disappeared. Chapter 971, Deathland. Chapter 971, Deathland. One move after another, they all disappeared without any warning. Even Fat Men Chen, who had rushed back in a hurry, was the same. Where did he go? No one knew. To live or to die? No one knew. After Supreme God sent Long Fei flying, his voice turned heavy as he shouted, from today onwards, no one is allowed to talk about Long Fei. If anyone dares to talk about Long Fei, they are expelled from God Emperor Academy. From now on, Palace Question of God will take over all management from God Emperor Academy. I will select 100 of my elite disciples to train in Outer Space Palace. As soon as his voice faded, Supreme God shouted, do you understand now? Everyone in the audience stood up and shouted, understood. He didn't dare to disobey. As he was the leader of the Supreme God, who would dare oppose him? Only a madman like Long Fei would dare be arrogant in front of him. Supreme God's gaze swept across the sky as he said coldly, Brat, I want you to know that this world belongs to the powerhouse. The weak are nothing and can't do anything. Arrogant in front of me, this is what happens to you. Supreme God did not regret his decision. He had to teach Long Fei a lesson. Otherwise, his Palace Question of God's reputation would be trampled under Long Fei's feet, which would be extremely disadvantageous to his Palace Question of God. It was also at this time. His mind suddenly sank as a powerful idea sound transmission sounded in his mind. Supreme God gave a few instructions to the elders beside him, after which a ray of light flashed and returned to the secret world where Great Elder Jiyu Tongtian was cultivating. Jiyu Tongtian's expression was somewhat unhappy, and said, You made this decision without discussing it with me in advance. Do you know that Long Fei is the only one who can solve the mystery of the dragon domain? Do you know how important he is to me? Very angry. Long Fei was too important to him. Supreme God immediately explained, Master, I know. You used the sunshine array to crush him even when you knew. You were actually able to send him to Deathland. You don't want me to die, do you? Jiyu Tongtian's eyes turned sinister as he stared at Supreme God. At this moment, his eyes were filled with killing intent and he looked extremely gloomy. Plop, Supreme God immediately kneeled on the ground and said, "This disciple doesn't dare. Everything this disciple does is for Master. For me. Are you talking about how you did it for me?" Jiyu Tongtian's tone was ice-cold, his killing intent not diminishing at all. The Supreme God immediately replied, "Long Fei's cultivation is currently too weak. With his current strength, I'm afraid that he won't be able to find the Yuan Long's tail. Without absolute strength, he wouldn't be able to break open the dragon domain. You told me this. I sent the person beside him flying, severely injuring his body and mind. With the personality of the Long family, he will definitely not let this go. He will definitely train hard, and search for the foundation of the dragon's tail with all his might. This will be even better for us. Master, this disciple definitely doesn't have any second thoughts towards you. The sun and moon can be seen," the Supreme God said. Jiyu Tongtian's idea moved, and instantly saw through the entire Supreme God. At this time, he slowly withdrew his killing intent and said, "I don't have much time left, you're very clear about this." "Yes. Long Fei is trapped in the Sunshine Array, and is he able to survive? Forget about Deathland, just by being in a state of half a life and being suppressed by the Sunshine Array, he would not be able to escape at all, and would only die in the array." Supreme God slightly shivered. At that time, he was too angry, so he didn't think too much about it. Therefore, the Sunshine Array that you condensed is of a very high level. At the very least, no 9th stage blood immortal cultivator can break through it. The Supreme God explained himself, "Don't worry, Master. Since he is the son of the Prophet, he will definitely be able to break the formation. He will definitely be able to walk out of the Deathland." As he said this, his back was covered in cold sweat. If Jiyu Tongtian were to pry into his heart now, he would definitely collapse. Because, Supreme God knows, that it is impossible for Long Fei to escape with half his life remaining, he will die in the Sunshine Array. Maybe. An idea popped into Supreme God's mind, maybe it's time for me to rule the world. This thought disappeared from his mind in a flash, and did not linger for even a second. As he was thinking about this, he looked at Jiyu Tongtian with a very calm expression, without a single ripple in his expression. To him, Jiyu Tongtian was someone who had been buried all this time. His lifespan would run out in a few years. At that time, with his current cultivation, he still had 100 years of longevity. He could do many things in 100 years, and if he could find the son of the Prophet, he would still have a chance to open the dragon domain. Long Fei's death might be the chance for him to rise up. He no longer needed to be manipulated. Ha ha ha. Supreme God laughed out loud in his heart. God Emperor City. The entire street of God's Phoenix Pavilion was filled with people. They were all warriors who came to buy Nantian elixir. Didn't they say that the Fengyuan Business Alliance has Nantian elixir S that can change the world? Why aren't you selling it? Is it that Long Fei is dead and the pill is lost? Do you have any pills? They were not concerned about Long Fei's life or death, they were only about the matter of whether or not the Nantian elixir was bought. Long Fei was suppressed by the Supreme God. However, they had all seen the effects of the Nantian elixir. They knew clearly in their hearts that this pellet was extremely powerful. God's Phoenix Pavilion, backyard. Everyone frowned. Fu Shishan cried. Why are you treating Long Fei like that? Heavens, are you scared? She had followed Long Fei's instructions and did not go to the God Emperor Academy today. Hearing that Long Fei was being suppressed by the Supreme God, she almost fainted, and her heart was in extreme pain. F***CK, Laozi is going to fight it out with him. Dao Ba was furious. He turned around and was about to leave the courtyard. Put me on. And us. We're going too. The criminals from the desert, their lives were saved by Long Fei, but now that Long Fei had been suppressed, they could not resist anymore. They no longer cared about God Emperor Academy, they just wanted to avenge Long Fei, even if it meant death. Qiu Wandao shouted, all of you, stand still. Can we get on the palace question of God? What is your cultivation level going to do? His voice was deep. Qiu Wandao's heart was also in extreme pain, but he knew of the Sunshine Array, and had even. He was still somewhat familiar with it, because His master, Long Zhanting, was crushed by this very array, and he finally escaped. Long Fei was also trapped in the array. The only difference was that Long Zhanting was a fitted realm back then and the current Long Fei was only in the blood immortal realm. He didn't dare to let his imagination run wild at this point in time. The only thing they could do was trust Long Fei. Dao Ba said, "We have to do something, right?" Qiu Wandao slightly said, "Wait." Chapter 972, The Second Time on the Goddess Tear. Chapter 972, The Second Time on the Goddess Tear. Waiting was an extremely ethereal matter. There are too many unknowns. Long Fei was still alive. Dead. Could he come back? When will he be back? There was too much to know, and no one could guarantee anything. However, Qiu Wandao was very clear in his heart that at this time, the only thing they could do was wait for his return. At the same time, Qiu Wandao's gaze darkened, became resolute, and said, "Before Long Fei comes back, I feel that we must also do something. He must definitely be somewhere cultivating with all his might. We cannot stand still." Fu Shishan immediately asked, "Presbyter Qiu, what do you think?" "We're going to fight against the Pan family merchant union tonight. We need to take down the Pan clan and let Nan Tian appear in every single pill shop in God's martial continent. Long Fei has set up 100 silver coins. This is a very profound intention. This pill can make all the warriors feel grateful towards Long Fei. At the same time, we can also earn money for the warriors of the entire God's martial continent. Long Fei definitely needs the fairy stones. We need the immortal crystals. We will do everything before he returns," Qiu Wandao slightly said. They couldn't do nothing about Long Fei's disappearance. The young master of the Pan clan merchant union, Pan Sheng, had died. The great elder Pan Zhon had died, and right now was the time when the Pan family had no leader and were at their weakest. The Pan family would never imagine that the Fengyuan Business Alliance would still dare to lay his hands on them after Long Fei had disappeared. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, the Black Knife said lightly. "I agree." Yuna said, "For Big Brother Long Fei's return, I agree as well." "All right. Then let's do the Pan family first." Fu Shishan clenched his fists tightly and said, "Then let's do it with Pan family. We've endured for half a year. It's time to counterattack." She had not done nothing in the past 6 months. On the contrary, she had been making preparations the entire time. She had a clear grasp of the Pan family's secret base, the Pan family's strength, and the number of disciples. Qiu Wandao said slightly, "This time, I have to pull it up by the roots." The Fengyuan Business Alliance retaliated. And then there was Long Fei. In the instant he was sent flying, his heart felt like it had died. He hated himself. Just like how Liu Luoshi had knelt for Hong Tianjun back then, only this time, his heart was even more unwell. He was in even more pain, worse than death, and could do nothing as he watched his brothers fly one after the other, and women fly into the air. The pain was indescribable. It was too hard. Long Fei's body was crippled, his entire body was like a lump of meat paste. His bones were fractured, his mind was crushed, his veins were shattered, and the health point above his head was still dropping bit by bit. He was about to die. Long Fei had to bear too much of a blow. He couldn't take it. All this while, he had been cultivating with all his might, desperately trying to make himself stronger and to protect the people around him. However, Nantian region's relatives, brothers, how is the woman now? He didn't know. He couldn't protect it. Immortal Domain's brother, what happened to the woman? He could only watch helplessly as they were sent flying. He was still unable to protect them. His heart ached as if he was dying, and his eyes glazed over. The image of them being smacked away appeared in his mind again and again, and after repeated torment, the pain was unbearable. "I can't protect anyone. I'm useless. I'm really useless. Perhaps I shouldn't have appeared in this world. Perhaps I should just die like this." Ah! As he spoke, Long Fei's eyes became moist, and tears started streaming down his face. It was really painful. He hated himself for being useless, being unable to protect anyone. In front of the incomparably strong Supreme God, he was nothing, nothing. He was too weak. Too weak, too weak. So what if he could kill the principal of the golden immortal rank? So what if he could kill the first devil slayer of the Yuanxian realm, Pan Sheng? So what if he could kill 8 Fairy Hall Elder S? No matter how strong he wasn't a match for Supreme God, and he couldn't even take one of Supreme God's attacks. This was the difference. The difference between the heavens and the earth. He was really tired. Huff. Huff. Long Fei looked at the dark void as his body continued to sink. He laughed bitterly to himself. Let me sink into it forever then. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Long Fei's eyes slightly closed, and his body felt like he was falling into a bottomless abyss, continuously falling down. The 14th dragon ancestor was roaring. However, the sunshine array separated them from Long Fei, so their voices could not reach Long Fei's mind. Yang Huang ancestor did everything he could, but it was still impossible. He couldn't wake up Long Fei either. Each and every one of them was incomparably anxious. They had lost to Long Fei in the Nantian region's Fire Li city once, but he had not lost any desire to live. Because he saw hope. The hope to crush Hong Tianjun. But this time, he could see no hope. When a man's confidence is shattered, his heart is broken. Long Fei was human, he was not a god. He couldn't just ignore everything. He continued to sink deeper and deeper. He needed someone to wake him up, someone to give him hope and confidence. But, in this empty space, no one could wake him up. Yang Huang ancestor, 14th dragon ancestor were all isolated, their voices could not wake Long Fei up at all. His body sank down for an unknown period of time. It was as long as a few centuries. Suddenly, a notification sounded. Ding. Red alert. Player's health point is too low, please recover their health point. Ding. Red alert. Player's health point is too low, please recover their health point. Long Fei glanced at the remaining few hundred points of blood vessels in his health point and faintly smiled. I'm about to die, I'll be coming to find you guys soon. Linglong, Chichen, Aoya. All of you wait for me, I'll be back soon. At this moment, the goddess Tear that was silently lying in the middle of Long Fei's space ring released a ray of starlight. These specks of light slowly fused together into a woman in the void darkness, an extremely beautiful woman. This woman was the woman he had met in the Snow Region secret world. Very beautiful. Unparalleled beauty. She gently said, Long Fei, you must pull yourself together. Are you a god? Long Fei looked at the beautiful star beauty in the sky with misty eyes, and said with a slight smile. Thank you for protecting me the last time, but I'm really too tired. I really want to sleep, I really want to. The goddess continued, Long Fei, you can't sleep. You still have to go save them, they aren't dead yet. Chapter 973 Skill, Void Walk. Chapter 973 Skill, Void Walk. How fierce was the Supreme God? Long Fei was very clear of how strong his power was. With a single move, he did not send them flying, but rather, instantly crushed them into fine powder. Long Fei thought that they were all dead. It was all because of him that he died, and it was also because of the incomparable pain in Long Fei's heart. He was not afraid of the Supreme God. With his personality, even if he didn't want to win, he still had to do it. A man dies in the sky, but never dies for tens of thousands of years. They were already dead, so what was there to be afraid of? Thus, all along, whether it was the Transu Emperor, the Western Devil Lord or the Supreme God, Long Fei had never cowered before them. His heart had collapsed not because of the Supreme God's power, but because he was the one who had caused the death of his brother. Let Song Tiantian, Fat Men Chen and the others die. He could not forgive himself. This was the reason for his collapse. When Long Fei heard the words "they're not dead yet," it was as if his nerves had received some sort of stimulation. It was as if he had come alive in an instant. The star goddess continued, like you, they have been sent into a special space. They are still waiting for you to save them. Nantian region is still waiting for you to save him. Dragon Domain is still waiting for you to save him. God's Martial Continent is still waiting for you to save him. You still want me. I was waiting for you too. Her words slowly spread around Long Fei's mind. The last sentence was very light. It was so light that he couldn't even hear himself. Long Fei became excited. They didn't die, ha ha ha. They are not dead. The goddess looked at Long Fei's excited expression and laughed lightly. So you have to pull yourself together again, you have to take back everything. Wake up, Long Fei. Wake up, Long Fei. Hurry up and wake up. Huff. Long Fei gasped for breath heavily, his face was pale white, his breathing was hurried, and he opened his eyes. Were you dreaming just now? That's not right. It's the goddess Tear, she's guiding me, she won't lie to me. Ling Long and the others are still alive, they aren't dead. Then I can't die. I absolutely cannot die. Long Fei's eyes became determined. The system was still ringing. Ding. Red alert. Player's health point is too low, please immediately add it. Red alert. Player's health point is too low, please immediately add it. Other than the system beep, there was no other sound in Long Fei's mind. Long Fei glanced at the goddess Tear among the space ring and said faintly, "Thank you." Immediately, Long Fei stood up with great difficulty. The idea linked to Xianbao spirit stones let out a heavy breath, and said, "Supreme God, just based on what you can do, I will die. Just you wait, on the day I return to God Emperor Academy, I will definitely ask you to go to the underworld. Explode." Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering Xianbao spirit stones for obtaining 1 million power of celestial points. There are still 7 uses left. Huff. Long Fei sucked in a cold breath. With his current condition, he was completely unable to use the turn Yang Long into God, and his body would directly explode from the immense force. He did not release the turn Yang Long into God, because even if he used it, it would be difficult for him to instantly charge out of the sunshine array. It's time to activate the second hero ability. Long Fei moved his idea and a stream of power of celestial appeared. Buzz. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for activating the Voidwalk skill. You have received 100 experience points, 100 power of celestial, and a special reward of 100 points. This set of skills was not exchanged by Long Fei. His skill redemption point of 108,000 points could only be exchanged for a single skill. He had exchanged it for the Nox SARS Decapitator. This was a skill that allowed him to escape and kill. Following the sound of the system beep, Long Fei roared in his heart, "Supreme God, you want to trap me? Just you wait." Ah! Long Fei moved his idea, releasing Void Walk. The void door opened its mouth for a moment, and Long Fei also went through it in a split second. Buzz. A huge sound echoed in Long Fei's mind as he flew out from the sunshine array. At the same time, all of the crushing pressure on Long Fei's body completely disappeared. It was as if his eardrums had exploded. Green Dragon Ancestor, boss, wake up quickly, you can't sleep, wait for your open dragon domain, wait for you to obtain all the power of the Yuan Long, a mere supreme god can crush anything you want. Sea Dragon King replied, "Boss, nothing must happen to you. You are the last hope of our Nantian region's dragon clan. You must hold on. Golden Dragon Master, it's all my fault. It's all because my defense is not strong enough and I didn't protect you well. Poisonous Ancestor, boss, if you don't wake up soon I'm going to shoot poison bullets. Hurry up and wake up, hurry up, all the brothers are waiting for you. The dragon domain is waiting for your return, hurry up and wake up." 14th Dragon Ancestor was anxiously shouting. They were extremely worried. Yang Huang Ancestor anxiously asked, "Brat, what are you doing? Nantian region would probably be overturned by you if you did not rush over. What do you mean by not waking up now? Are you going to abandon me? Didn't I just eat some of your holy artifact? Was there a need for this? Brat, I have bet everything on you, you can't be like this, at worst, I will just not eat your holy artifact." Worried. Unspeakable worry. As Long Fei listened to these voices, his heart felt warm. At the same time, his idea moved, and said lightly, "Don't worry, I won't fall down that easily. I, Long Fei, am back." As soon as he finished speaking, 14th Dragon Ancestor cried tears of joy, unable to say a single word. Yang Huang ancestor smiled. He also had the urge to cry and muttered, "You brat." The boulder in their hearts was finally lifted. They could also tell that Long Fei had survived. They didn't know what had happened, but they all knew in their hearts that after experiencing this incident, Long Fei's heart would become firmer and braver. No matter how big of a setback he faced, he would forcefully ascend. "Right. Ancestor, what did you say just now? You said you won't devour my holy artifact." Long Fei smiled slightly. Yang Huang ancestor was immediately surprised and played dumb. "Did I say that? How come I don't remember? You definitely heard wrong. F***CK. Can you not be so shameless?" Long Fei disdained. At this moment, Yang Huang ancestor suddenly said, "Below, there are so many powerful auras. Kid, where are you?" Chapter 974, Lousy Want to Soar with a Tiger. Chapter 974, Lousy Want to Soar with a Tiger. What is this place? Yang Huang ancestor's words woke him up. Long Fei frowned. Only after hearing Yang Huang ancestor's reminder, he suddenly woke up. Lowering his head, he saw that a large group of undead creatures were staring at him with bared teeth and saliva flowing out like a river. A large group of demon beast. Moreover, their bodies were emitting a bit of light. Clearly, they were elite monsters. Rub. Long Fei's heart trembled, and the corners of his mouth curled up in excitement immediately. Looking at the large group of elite demon beast, he said, "Supreme God, you never expected that I would escape from you, much less that a deathland like you would be a paradise for me. Ha ha ha. 8 Golden Dragon Master S, listen up." As soon as he finished speaking, Golden Dragon Master shouted in unison, "Present. Use your power to protect my body." Long Fei said anxiously, "Understood." Boom. Mental strengthening. Buzz. Strengthening of the sea of consciousness. The Golden Dragon Master couldn't care about what the Green Dragon ancestor said. What he wanted to do now was to ensure Long Fei's safety with all his might. He absolutely could not let anything happen to him. The power of the Golden Dragon Protector was fully unleashed. Long Fei moved, walk in the air. Shua. His body fiercely charged forward, piercing towards the ground. "Kid, what do you want to do? Your body is extremely weak right now. You should immediately heal up. How about this?" The Yang Huang ancestor was worried. Long Fei's body was too weak. His entire body was covered in wounds. Long Fei himself was clear that he only had a little more than 100 health point left. If he did not replenish them, he would die, but it would not be easy to replenish his health point. Even if he did, his body would still be injured. Thus, he wanted to use the most direct method to level up. Fuse with the Pangu Immortal Root. Ding. Are you sure? I'm sure. The Pangu Immortal Root had disappeared from the space ring and was assimilated into Long Fei's body. At this moment, Long Fei roared, "Turn Yang Long into God, open for me." Roar. His body suddenly changed, and in the blink of an eye, Long Fei had turned into an incomparably huge dragon. "You want me to die? Even the gods can't do it. Supreme God, Palace Question of God, just you wait." Long Fei's anger soared as he turned into a giant dragon. The fusion speed of his immortal foundation increased. Long Fei stared at the dead beings on the ground. "All of you, go and die." Rumble. With their huge bodies crushing down, those dead creatures looked as if they had seen a ghost, and were all dumbfounded on the spot. Crack. Ding, ding, ding. The system beeps echoed crazily. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 killing Bug of Death for obtaining 11,000 experience, 10 power of celestial points, and 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 killing Bug of Death for obtaining 11,000 experience, 10 power of celestial points, and 1 energy values. The experience points was not bad, but the value of the power of celestial was very little. However, Long Fei did not care about all this. What he wanted now was experience points. At the same time, Long Fei summoned his sky-burning dragon gun out. The fire attribute energy intertwined together, and a large amount of flames spread out, sweeping out like a gigantic fire dragon that was more than a kilometer long. Wherever the flames went, the grass would not die. Except death. Ding, 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 ding. 3 minutes later. Just when Long Fei's health point was about to end at 5, the system beep finally rang. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Golden Immortal Stage Level 1. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward. In the system interface, the box once again flashed with light. Long Fei said excitedly, Demasha. The idea clicked on it. The gift pack opened, and the system beep rang. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the call card's Death Knight Demasha's power. As soon as his voice faded, Long Fei was stupefied. Looking at the card for Death Knight Dema in his mind, the boiling in his heart went from being a bubble to a monstrous wave, rolling non-stop. Ha ha ha. System, I'm going to love you to death. Demasha's power. Galen. Ha ha ha. Awesome. Long Fei never thought that he would once again receive the system's reward, and this time it was even the call card S. The power that Hand of Noxus displayed was extremely terrifying, and now with another call card S reward, Long Fei was extremely excited in his heart. The power of the Great Sword crushed everything in its path. From the mind to the sea of consciousness, everything would be destroyed. Long Fei had trained in Dema's big technique, so he understood how powerful the big treasure sword was. To be able to cultivate the Pan-Jiu bloodline to the 9th layer and summon the Pangu's shadow even by Pan Sheng, how strong was Pan Sheng? However, in the face of that great sword, he was just a piece of trash. A single sword strike had instantly killed him. Moreover, one more thing. The skills that Long Fei cultivated were different from the skills released by the heroes themselves. Their skills effects were even stronger, but the most important point was that these heroes would all level up, if they could get all the equipment together as well. Ka. The scene was too beautiful, Long Fei didn't dare to imagine anything, and then, check out the hero stats. Character, Demasha power, Death Knight, level, Saint description, possesses unparalleled strength. Able to walk out from death's door. Use the great sword in your hand to split heaven and earth. Fuck. Hand of Noxus let out a roar, Hand of Noxus let him see the different nook, now F***CK, what kind of power could his big treasured sword possibly unleash? Long Fei was filled with incomparable anticipation. Gold coins. I need gold coins, I need to create the strongest team, I need 6 Infinity Sword S, Dema and Nox, I just want brainless attack and attack. Long Fei was willful, he never thought of giving Ma De Ma and Nox some defensive equipment, he just wanted Infinity Sword S, so he wanted to explode. Wait for this daddy to level up first, then we can slowly study it. Now was not the time to think about that. What Long Fei needed the most right now were levels, and levels. His current level was too low. The Golden Immortal rank was not enough. The turn Yang Long into God had a time limit, so he had to make full use of it. Scorching heaven, continue burning everything, rumble, rumble. The flames engulfed the sky and exploded at the center of Deathland. At the same time, Palace Question of God, in the secret room of the Supreme God. The instant his sunshine array was broken, the space between Supreme God's eyebrows tightened, and said coldly, "You broke the formation in just a day, Long Fei, I have really underestimated you. However, hee. Chapter 975 Endless Starlight. Chapter 975 Endless Starlight. Where is this? Hell? Song Qianqian woke up from her coma, and her body suffered a huge injury, as though it was about to split open. In front of him was a group of gorillas, and in their hands was a divine celestial sword of lunar shadow that was similar to the one Song Qianqian was holding. The moment they saw Song Qianqian waking up, they suddenly moved. The long sword struck out. Furthermore, on top of their heads, the afterimage of the female blood vein of the 9th heaven appeared as well, as they completely copied Song Qianqian's technique. Song Qianqian was stunned. Ah! If you have the guts, then kill me. Otherwise, I will one day escape from here. Fat Men Chen roared as he was crushed by the 5-fingered mountain. Furthermore, As he continued to use his strength to resist, the size and weight of the five-fingered mountain continued to increase, crushing him firmly to the ground and immobilizing him. Chen Tianfei continuously roared, and the holy armor fairy vein in his body also continued to become stronger. Divine bird. Are you the divine bird that was passed down to me, the blood vein? Linglong stared at a gigantic divine bird in front of her, which had rainbow feathers and was exuding a very familiar aura. It was very special. The divine bird cried out. The sound penetrated everything. His mind, consciousness, all of it felt like it was going to collapse. Linglong fell to the ground and vomited blood. She was in extreme pain. The Hall of 10,000 Swords. Where is this place? Why did I never know of such a place? When Oya woke up, she found that this place was special. There was only one house in this empty space, and when she stepped inside, the whole world had changed. It had become a world of the Tao of the sword. Powerful sword intent continued to surge into her mind. She was ruthlessly ravaging her own sword intent, and it was extremely painful. Dao Feng's swift slash. Man Tuoluo's poison. Xiao Ying's violence. Zheng Qingsong's array. They were all sent into a special space. In the instant they were sent flying, their unconscious soul consciousness could only feel that they had been changed in their trajectory by another powerful force. Originally, they were all going to die, but all of them came to life. They entered a space they never knew about. They did not know who had saved them. However, they knew that they had to survive. Long Fei was imprisoned in the array formation released by the Supreme God, while Long Fei was still waiting for them to save him. He had to survive. To live for Long Fei. Boom. Boom. After two heavy blows, Long Fei's body suddenly bounced away, landing on a treetop. He panted heavily and said, "Damn, aren't these dead creatures a bit too strong? My attacks can only create damage with 4 digits of numbers. This is too hard to bear." Why is Ancestor Yang Long so relaxed? 3 days later. Long Fei used the turn Yang Long into God to break through to the second stage of the Golden Immortal stage. He realized that it was really too difficult and that he was not his match. Once he passed the 4-demon beast, he would not be able to handle it. Ding. System notification. Hand of Noxus's cooldown has ended. Ding. System prompt. Demasia's power cooldown has ended. Heh. Long Fei summoned his variation panther and rushed down heavily. He looked at the death insects on the ground and laughed coldly, then said, "Come, I will let you all have a taste of this great sword, ha ha ha. Descend. Hand of Noxus, grind them all up. Descend. Demasia's power, use your great sword to blow up their chrysanthemum, ha ha ha. Boom. Boom. His in the tower, weak ones, I will crush you." One was Galen in his Death Knight attire, the other was Nox in his basket. The two of them were like two holy general that had descended from the sky, exploding in the group of demon beast, and then rushed forward ferociously. Long Fei laughed and said, "Kill, kill, kill, kill me." Galen picked up the great sword and swung it around like a tornado. Nox also did not dare show any weakness. With a large-scale killing move, he increased his movement speed and pulled a bug over, causing a crippling blow. A big move and it would be smashed down, leaving no path for him to live. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Death Bug for obtaining 11,000 experience, 10 power of celestial and 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 2 gold coins as a special item. Continue. As long as there's enough time, buying 6 Infinity Sword wouldn't be a problem. Supreme God, just you wait. Continue. The 2 holy generals massacred madly. They were an independent existence. The gold coins that the monsters they killed belonged to them. Long Fei was unable to combine the gold coins. And then again. The only thing was that he only had 10 minutes per day to appear on stage. The time was too short, it was completely not enough for him to look around. Every time Long Fei would try his best to lure the monsters, wait for the cooldown time to let them slaughter the monsters crazily. Even so, buying a handful of Infinity Sword was extremely difficult. Because AF** King Infinity Sword not only required 3,800 pieces, but also 300,000 pieces. Long Fei looked at the price of the Infinity Sword and he had the urge to curse out loud. I only get a few thousand a day, but you want 380,000 for a bunch of Infinity Sword? Your sister. Long Fei felt bitter in his heart, but he had no choice. He had to create 6 Infinity Swords. Of course. The Infinity Sword was expensive for a reason. In the game, Endless Starlight only had a few dozen points of attack, but the Endless Starlight only dealt a few thousand points of attack, plus 500% critical hit. Seeing this, Long Fei was even more determined to defeat his Infinity Sword army. He had to turn Dima and Nox into a berserk legion. Kill. Kill. I will kill with all I have. Long Fei did not stay idle for even a moment as he continued to crazily kill all of them. Hell Core attack. Don't kill them, just cripple them all. Long Fei took every opportunity to earn gold coins, telling Dima and Nox to go all out to reap as much gold as possible. A full 4 months passed. Long Fei broke through from Golden Immortal stage level 2 to level 4. 1 level in 2 months. He needed a long string of experience to level up, and Long Fei couldn't really count it clearly even after counting a few times. From the moment he entered the Golden Immortal rank, leveling had become extremely difficult. Open the hero shop. Long Fei's face was pitch black, his eyes glowed with a gold light, his lips curled up, and revealed an evil smile. There's finally enough gold coins. Nox, Galen. Brother will let you fly today. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.